Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back for another Legacy League, and today we're continuing our exploration of Bant Beanstalk as an archetype. I think it's really strong. I've already trophied with a list that I built that around this kind of core shell of Quantum Riddler and up the Beanstalk, and now I'm going to try giving Murktide a go. Murktide is an insanely powerful finisher, and it does trigger Beanstalk, and it is relatively easy to cast in our deck that has so many instants and sorceries in the graveyard. So I decided to basically put Lórien Revealed into the deck and put Mystic Sanctuary. So we have yet another way, if we stall out mid-game, to claw back into the game after we exhaust all of our pitch spells. We're not playing Solitude anymore. Instead, we're still playing the 4 Ley Lines, the 4 Plows, and the 2 Prismatic Endings, and the Phelia. But we're just hoping to stop things on the stack with Force of Will. We've got a Force Negation in here. We have 4 Wastelands. I think this is really relevant right now with all the 12 post type decks that you have to interact with their mana base or you lose. And then in the sideboard, we have a Terminus. I love this card, and it's so much better when you have Mystic Sanctuary because you can do it a second time if you want. We have the remaining 3 Force Negations here, the 3 Hydroblast, the 4 Consign to Memory, and 4 Carpeted Flowers. This card has been so good for me in tempo matchups. So we're going to play a full 5 rounds. The first round has already started. We've got an unknown opponent. I mean, this is a forced blue card hand. I don't like Mystic Sanctuary as my first land, but if they don't waste it, we can use that to get Ponder. Otherwise, we're drawing to essentially 19 other cards that we can play like lands, plus our Lórien Revealed. I'm going to keep this. Okay, Mountain Strategy. Rite of Flame. Okay, so they're on Moonstompy, I guess. Or not Moonstompy, rather. We're just going to need to figure out a key time to stop. They're on Ruby Storm. This deck is extremely powerful and really rough against control decks. I'm going to let this resolve. I'm going to go after the spell that puts stuff into play. They've got tons of mana. Storm of Memories. This is going to give them a lot of mana. And then the first card that actually... So they have tons of mana now. Gosh, this is a nightmare. I could have stopped the Seething Song, but it didn't feel right. So this draws them a card. I'm going to let this happen. I can only force one thing. The odds of them drawing some action spell off of that are relatively low. These are getting exiled forever. They got one more trigger. Okay, and then the last trigger fizzles because it doesn't have a target. They got 12 mana in the pool. Come on, don't do anything too broken. Reckless Impulse. I'm going to force that, and I'm going to hope that that's the last spell that they have here. Oh my goodness. Quantum Riddler is how we close the game. I don't want to pitch it, but I might need to mill for, gosh, I mean, what does my next turn look like? I'm putting Mystic Sanctuary on the table. So you always go after whatever they're using to go get business. They could have Burning Wish in their hand. Okay, I'm just going to concede to that. They're just going to blow us out. This is a nightmare to face, really, because this deck is so robust and resilient. I think it's one of the best Storm decks. So they can Burning Wish, and then they can just go get a whole bunch of other cards. That way, they can get You're not going to win from that position is what I'm telling you. Okay, so Consign to Memory can come in. It's not great, but it does stop Storm. Hydroblast comes in. Force of Negation comes in. It may look like we have a lot of sideboard cards that are relevant in this matchup, but the sad reality is it's probably not enough. I'll keep Phelia because one of the ways we can win is we can potentially win quickly, and that involves flipping Quantum Riddler. I don't think Leyline Binding is going to come down fast enough, and the permanents they have to target, just the only permanents they have are the actual Ruby Medallion and the Rawl guy, the creature that turns into a Planeswalker when they get enough, when they win a coin flip. So we could take out Prismatic Ending because it only targets those 2 permanents, and then keep these in just because they help us draw cards. I'm going to take out some, you know what? I think I'm going to keep these in. They do everything at sorcery speed, basically. So they'll pass the turn with one of those out, and then we'll be able to kill it with this. I'm going to take out this card because it enters tapped. I guess I could take out Mystic Sanctuary. It's unlikely that the game is going to go long at all. they have such a degree of inevitability. You have to stop the spells that dig for additional cards, because half their deck is mana, half their deck is card draw, and then they have the 4 Burning Wishes. Yeah, and if I waited to counter the Burning Wish, who knows? The Reckless Impulse might have revealed another one or some other spell that draws them cards. So it's kind of scary because you really do want to counter the first Reckless Impulse. Otherwise, they can Reckless Impulse into other Reckless Impulses, or I think it's like Ren's Impulse, or I can't remember what it's called, but there's like the Ren and 6 guy also has a card in there. We need to make one more cut. I'm not going to cut Beanstalk because that's how we claw back into the game. I think I'll cut a Wasteland. Actually, you know what? I'm going to bring these back in. And I'm just going to cut the Wastelands. Like, it's rare that Wasteland matters. They don't play that many wastable spells. Or wastable lands. Okay. Just like that, we made our deck way more red, blue. This is a keep. We'll just hope that they don't have... I mean, Consign can stop the Storm on both their Grape Shot, which is how they usually win, and on that Storm of Memories. I haven't beaten this deck before, I don't think. Like, in its current incarnation, I think I've lost to it twice. I've never beaten it. That's how good it is. There's a video you can watch, the Epic Storm. And it is a no reserve list video that I guess I could technically make a video of it. It's not an interesting deck, in my humble opinion. It's just like a pretty boring linear... Like, it's not like nearly as interesting as playing like the Epic Storm or even the Epic Gamble or anything like that, because you just... It's so simple to play, I think. Let's play out the Hedge Maze. That's staying on top. We're just trying to get a critical mass of interaction for their go-off turn. But at the same time, we do need to clock them because they just continue to amass resources in the form of ritual effects. So my hand's fine. I'm looking for Quantum Riddler or Beanstalk. I think I'm going to go ahead and just start with a Ponder. Well, Ponder is how I can shuffle my deck, and I may need to shuffle my deck if I have like a bunch of bricks on top, like lands. I think I'm going to go ahead and Brainstorm first. There we go. These are great cards. So I'll put back a Riddler. I can't shuffle these. I mean, I could shuffle them with the Ponder. Yeah, maybe I put back a Riddler and this land. Now I'm going to go ahead and Ponder. And, but that does take me off Hydroblast for next turn. I think I just chill with Hydroblast up. Hydroblast hits, 70% of their deck. If they play a Ruby Medallion, I probably have to force it just because... Okay, this is the card I was talking about, Ren's Resolve. I'm just going to Hydro it. I don't want them getting additional cards. This is mana efficient. Next turn, I could just Riddler, I guess, to get more cards. That's better than pondering. Let's see. I can do both. I can ponder and I can riddle. If I find a Beanstalk, I want to sequence that first. Phelia. Okay. So we're going to Phelia this turn, and then next turn, we're going to Riddler. And I think this Murk is fine too, because that'll help end the game quickly. Oh no, I tapped out of freaking white because I figured I didn't have any white cards in my deck. So I'm just going to Riddler this turn, draw an extra card, and next turn, I will do what I was planning to do. And I might just cast Murk next turn just to kill them faster. If I get to do a force fight here and I have a bunch of cards in my graveyard. Because I could probably make Murk full size. Yeah, I didn't anticipate finding Phelia off there, so I tapped that instead. But in retrospect, I probably should have tapped that because I had the green source already in hand. So that was a punt. I think this is a force. This guy, we don't have a good answer for him. Reckless Impulse. I could force this but then, yeah, I have to wait until I have this back. I need to have both of these in hand. I can't do the Phelia trick with this guy that's in Warp. Let's see what cards entered exile. Good ones. Holy cow, those are so good. Oh my goodness, we're screwed. They already almost have 5 mana to cast this. This generates mana. I need to kind of reduce the number of cards in my hand. Okay, so if I Murk now, I hit them for 7, and then I hit them for 7, and they're going to be doing damage to themselves. That also reduces the total number of cards in our hand, because we can just force something, and then this will only generate 1 mana targeting us, so it turns off that mode. And Exile the top 3 cards of your library. You may play them. I mean, that's like a super powerful Reckless Impulse right there. I think the simplest thing to do is probably just Murk. But I can draw a lot of cards with Phelia and Riddler. So I'll draw 4 cards next turn. Or, I mean, if I force pitching Murktide, yeah. I think that's the more finesseful way to do it, and just use Murktide as my pitch to force negation. We'll see whether we get another turn. But I'd rather be drawing tons of cards and having Phelia potentially disrupt their Rawl and stuff. If this is Seething Song, I am going to force it. Because that gives them the mana to execute these other spells. 1 red for each. So if I force this, it increases the storm count. And they only have 1 mana for the rest of the turn cycle. I'm going to do it. So now they don't get the ritual effect. They would have gone up mana. Now they only have 1 red mana. Okay, good. We made it through the turn. All right, and this card burns off. Where they're not going to be able to cast that anymore. I think it's unlikely they can interact with this. Their deck doesn't really interact at all. It just keeps asking questions. So I would like to find a Wasteland here. But if I play this out, I get an extra card. No, I don't need to play it out to get an extra card. Okay, so Warp and Riddler, we get a card. Or we get 2 cards. Okay, that's pretty good. I can go ahead and deploy the Beanstalk. Oh, I can put Force of Will back on top. I like that a lot. Let's do that. Gosh, this is really shaping up to like great. Because I have, this was the 4th island. So now we'll put Force on top. So it's just a question of like how big their next turn is going to be. Because we're having a very good turn here. We'll draw 2. Boom. Love it. All right, and then we're going to draw another one in the end step. They take 2. I would have loved to have found a Wasteland, but I'm not disappointed at all with this turn cycle. I don't think the sequence in which you stack those triggers matters, by the way, because the warp is for a previous instance of this Riddler. It's not this one, so it's not like it's going to warp out because you had the warp trigger happen after the Phelia return one. So they're looking at taking 7, so they're on a 2-turn clock here. So if I let this go, one of the abilities of it is it can do 2 damage to any target. I don't think that's that important. It does reduce the cost of all their spells. Simplest thing is just to force it. By the way, I have Lórien Revealed drawing 4 cards next turn. Okay, another Beanstalk. I mean, that could have been bait. Okay, they just have a second one. So that's a cost reducer. All right, that's fine. So that's a blocker, basically. Hydroblast. I can just push it out of the way. I think that's probably the correct thing to do. I could deploy this one as well and get 2 cards for it. But that drops my guard with the Hydroblast, and Hydroblast is really good. I think the simple thing to do is just attack them, blinking the Beanstalk. Let's go ahead and play a Beanstalk out. Okay, I'm feeling pretty confident in this game now. Go to combat here. This is a 1-3. I'm going to blink this. So they can trade if they want. This will be a 4-4 next turn. So now they need to kill multiple things to survive next turn. I'll just pass. So I get a card. All right. So we have 2 points of interaction here. They have 5 cards. They still have Raj out, or Rawl out. This is really cool art, by the way. He looks like he's at Professor X's mansion. I think I could just Hydroblast this and this decreases their mana. So they don't get the mana, they don't get the card. Of course, I could have just Hydroblasted that. I think maybe actually I should have Hydroblasted that because this is going to discount everything they do. I have 1 Hydroblast left in the deck. I might draw it off of the force. It's worth noting that they do take damage every time they flip a coin, and they're at 5. So they could like potentially die in the process of trying to cast a bunch of spells. So they're at 4. Yeah, they just scooped. I think they knew I had a blue card. They knew I had a force. They didn't know I had a blue card to go with it. So I was digging for a Wasteland, but I was actually down a Wasteland. Down 3 Wastelands. But I think that's probably okay. So we're at 17 lands plus 2 Lóriens. I think this is probably fine to go back in. I can't think of any other substitutions I would make. Let's do it. As always, I invite you to leave comments with timestamps as to what substitutions you would make. So this is a hand that would be perfectly good if we weren't facing like a deck with insane inevitability that is very fast. Like we don't have time to set up, sadly. I'm going to mulligan this. We really do want a force effect. This is a lot better. So we could flip Tamiyo. Again, it's probably not fast enough. I may want to keep the Savannah around just because we're at 17 land and we're not guaranteed to find land. And I do want to continue to develop my board state. It's the worst land. I'm going to put it back. We might get punished. We get a draw step and then we have cantrips to find land. I'm definitely going to be Tamiyoing and flipping her as soon as possible. I'm not even sure if my opponent's playing Pyroblast. We didn't see one. That's a great rip. So this is going to be the blue-green land. Because drawing Beanstalk is probably more important than drawing a white card. We want to draw the Beanstalk first and then the Leyland Binding. So it makes sense that we would sequence with green as our priority in this case, even though normally under like normal circumstances where you're not playing a insane combo deck. Wow, did they just brick completely? I'll take it. That's another good draw. I'm going to flip her and hopefully find a land here. Okay, we found a land and we found a Beanstalk. So everything's coming along great here. I can hold up Consign just in case they play something. I'll put a Riddler back and a Riddler back. I'm not going to cast either of those. I guess I could Brainstorm. No, I don't. Like, why would I cast Brainstorm when I could cast Riddler? So I'll pitch Brainstorm to force if I need to here. I think we just got lucky. I think my opponent had a bad keep if they don't have any lands. Or they may just have some insane hand and they're just waiting for a land. There we go. I did not expect to win that one. That's my first time beating that deck. See you in round 2. Round 2, we're on the play against an unknown opponent with a non-keepable hand, in my opinion. Let's mull. This is a better hand. This has the Phelia Quantum Riddler combo in it. Opponent mulls to 6. I'm going to keep... I think I put back Brainstorm here because Quantum Riddler... Maybe I only need one shot with Quantum Riddler, but if Phelia resolves, I could see myself re-rolling. Like if they force the first Quantum Riddler with Phelia out, then I could have a second one on tap. Brainstorm is more flexible if we get into like a Wasteland fight or something like that. So yeah, I'll put one of these back. By the way, the previous round, Ruby Storm, the Epic Storm did an amazing video where like the guy, Brian Cook, he had never even played the deck before and he just completely annihilated people with it. And he's like, holy cow, this deck is insane. And he 5-0'd with it his first try. So like if what we saw last round was not that impressive, believe me, it is a deck that you want to respect. So I'll get some more information about what they're on and also keep up emergency brainstorm in case they're on oops. And then I'll surveil and hope to find a second blue source. Tundra. Tamiyo. Okay. Well, they absolutely could be a Wasteland deck. Blue-white does not mean that they're not tempo. And I'm not a tempo deck, and I've got 4 Wastelands. So, this said, I am going to surveil. I could definitely ramp out a Phelia first, but I think it's better to just surveil to get an extra look. I'm not going to be casting Phelia anytime soon. It'll probably be 2 or 3 turns from now. Top card is a land. It's a Wasteland. We could use these Wastelands to power out a Riddler. The main problem with that is they're going to be stacking up clues the entire time. I think Tamiyo largely invalidates the Wasteland plan. I'm going to dump it. There we go. I mean, I could find a removal spell off of a Ponder. I think what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to high roll into one of my 6 1 white mana removal spells. And they're probably going to Daze It or Force It, but I need to remove this. And I'm one of those gamers that is always seeking to control my opponent before I advance my own board. I mean, there's my own Tamiyo with a Brainstorm and Force on the top of my deck. Like, I don't hate this. I think I just Tamiyo and pass, and we accept the fact that they have Tamiyo first and that they're probably going to win the Tamiyo race. They may not have the Brainstorm. They don't always have it. Phelia can mess with Tamiyo, and we'll have a brainstorm, or we'll have a force to protect Phelia. All right, you should always block just in case they're playing a ninja. It takes 0 time to block. There are ninjas other than Kaito. Like if they just fetch Underground Sea and then put it. Okay, this is. They may get Meteor Sword, which is totally greedy, but everybody loves to get whatever the new card is. Cryptic Code is probably the practical thing to get. Yep, Meteor Sword. Okay, so fighting removal is a high priority here. We have stack interaction. If we waste that Tundra, they may not have a follow-up land. I would like to get Phelia out. I sure would. Well, I'm going to go ahead and attack, and then I'm going to brainstorm and see what I find. I'll keep the white up. Okay. We did not find what we were looking for at all, and we don't have a way to shuffle. Options. Waste them and hope they don't Meteor Sword or flip Tamiyo, which is most likely the target. They are not playing the Yorion version, so they don't have nearly as many ways of using the Meteor Sword as we would. Like they could technically, I guess, if they had more mana, they could equip the Meteor Sword and use that to kill Tamiyo that way. I think what I do here is I'll stack the Riddler on the bottom. Then I'm going to waste this turn just hoping that they don't have white mana. And then I can steal an extra turn or two. I mean, they're going to have 1 white mana, but they may not have a second land. They may go after my land instead of Tamiyo, which is way scarier. We'll pass. We have both forces up, but it's probably not going to matter because, again, this doesn't use the stack when they put the thing in. Yeah, they have the Wasteland. I think they're going to Meteor Sword, and then they're probably going to waste us. I do have another land. I can... Like, if they gave me some stuff to force, I could force down to potentially 1 card. I'm going to definitely use the Regrowth ability here. Okay, they're just going to Meteor Sword immediately. Yep. They go after my lands. Okay, they go after this. That makes sense. So that was a 2-for-1. It's not nothing. And now they have this kind of mediocre creature in play, but they may have other equipment in their hand. The important thing is they drew that Wasteland. I'm going to pass off Phelia and try to ambush one in combat. I am worried about just the clues that they're stacking up over there. If they have Phelia, I'll definitely force that. Okay, they're opting not to attack with her. Just the fact that she's gone unanswered for 3 turns and built all these clues up is terrifying to me. All right, let's go ahead and do this. We don't have any beneficial blink on our side yet, but we're going to have Quantum Riddler next turn. Let's riddle. And if they fight over this, I can force, and then I'll get 2 cards. Please fight over this. Gosh, I'm so low in cards, I think I actually keep the Riddler here. If they have another force, it'll be pretty ugly. They do. They're plowing Phelia. Yeah, that sucks. Okay, well, I still get 2 cards. It's not the end of the world. One of these could be a plow. Come on, deck. Give me one of those mini plows that I have in there. Ah! Well, it's a land. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play this land out, and then I'll get 2 more cards. Check this out. And then hopefully one of the cards I find is going to be a plow. I'm going to any order shuffle this. Come on, plow. Yes. Well, they can't do anything. All right, and now this warps. And next turn we can play it out, but they're almost certainly going to waste us, knowing that we're so close. So what I'll probably do next turn is just warp the Riddler, unless they cast something catastrophically good. The card that they pitched to force, by the way, was Brainstorm. So they had Brainstorm to flipper, but I deprived them of their blue source. Okay, now they're attacking, which tells me we're winning. They don't have another land, and they don't have another equipment. That was very smart of them to keep that back, though, the turn that I had Phelia, because I would have absolutely thrown Phelia in front of that. Right. If I cast this one from hand, then I get 2 cards. Let's do it. Boom. Haha, love it. We're doing great. I love this card. This card is overpowered. This is an incredibly pushed card. I mean, we've already drawn so many cards. I'm not going to let you Meteor Sword me. I'll pitch a Tamiyo here because I want to be able to stop a follow-up threat as well. Because if they start blinking Meteor Sword, it gets pretty messed up pretty quickly. There's another Stoneforge. I can't stop it. They can go get like a Caldra if that's in their deck. That card sucks, but people still play it. Pre-war. Okay, that is good. That is good. They can do that next turn. And they can get back Phelia. So I need to kill both of these. Or I'm going to be dealing with yet another Phelia. So we get 2 cards during our upkeep. Overpowered. Okay. We just put the plow back on top. Okay. So plow goes on top. I'm going to try to kill both of these stone forges. Now I'm going to prismatic end one of these. Now I'm down to 1 card. Here, I mean, you're about to see how broken this card is. This card is absolutely cracked. Okay, we got the non-summoning sickness now. Now we do this. We'll draw 2 cards because the card is freaking broken. I'm telling you, this card is broken. And we drew another plow. It's just annihilation over here. We'll come in for a hug. I mean, it's just like, what the heck were they thinking with this card? It's kind of like one of those Nadu type things. Like, what were they thinking? Giving that static ability. But I'll take it as a control gamer. I'll take any tool in my toolbox to be able to play control. They're just drawing, desperately trying to find land. Next turn, I've got another one of these coming. They don't even have a plow target, so I can't find a way to get down to where I can... Yeah, we'll just warp this in immediately. I can keep all 3 of my colors up. They force that. I can't force back. That's fine. They're at 3 cards. Let's go ahead and come in. Anything they put on the table gets plowed, and then we get 2 more cards during our draw step. 2 more turns of attacking. Really 3 more. They've been very disciplined about not using that Wasteland. My opponent played excellent, but like, I'm sorry. You're not going to stop freaking Quantum Riddler. This card is insane. Okay, so I don't really have any changes. We could put Consign in there. Like, people sometimes play it against Death and Taxes and stuff. Again, I will say that I don't like 2-for-1ing myself just to stop some beneficial ETB trigger. They still have the permanent. It still does stuff. Like, yeah, we went down a card to stop a trigger. It doesn't feel right. Like, technically, I guess I'm going down a card when I force something, but there's so much more flexibility there. This often rots in my hand against, like, Death and Taxes. So I can see why people reach for these, but I don't know that it's correct. Is Terminus correct? They have... It's not a seriously go wide strategy. I think we don't make any changes. I think we're kind of pre-boarded for this type of matchup. I could take out the Force Negation in favor of a Consign. I think that's probably better. Oh, they have Wasteland and Islands. I'm going to bring in a Carpet. Actually, I mean, we only saw... Like, I'd be willing to bet, like, almost all their lands are Islands. We could bring in a second one. They're also playing Prismatic Ending, though. That Wasteland was clutch, obviously. That's really what, won us the game, is Wasteland. So I think I don't cut my Wastelands. I'll just bring in an additional mana source. They could have, like, Harbinger of the Tides, or Harbinger of the Seas. I always get those two confused. I mean, Carpet's a good answer to that, if they do. Maybe 2 Carpets. I'm not likely to try to waste them out. It's not like they're playing like must-stop utility lands. They may be playing Karakas. Yeah, I'll do it like that. Almost all their must-counter spells are going to be creatures, though, which is why I don't like Force Negation in this matchup. This is a no-lander. Don't even look at it. Just see that it doesn't have a land and throw it back. Don't get wistful. This is a double Tamiyo start. I mean, she's so good, and she's so likely to get removed that I kind of want to keep her, but this Prismatic Ending is going to be really clutch. I'm just going to keep a smorgasbord. This is like an insane opener right here. A lot of stuff has to go wrong from here. Okay, there we go. I'm just going to immediately remove her. I have force. If they force, I will prioritize removing her. That's a good card to clear her. If the game goes longer, you can clear both sides of her, but I always like to hit her when they can't cast Brainstorm. That worked. This might be an inbound Wasteland, but I think my opponent is going to find trying to waste me is a fool's errand. I've got a lot of land. Okay, Beanstalk is going to be the play. I think they may have Phelia here. They may try to do what we did, but Beanstalk is more important than getting Tamiyo out. I don't think they're playing Days, but they absolutely could be playing Days. Let's grab this Trop here. And let's do our broken thing. Speak your broken truth. My truth is I should be drawing lots of cards. All right, let's pass. They're fetching in the end step. I think this is probably Phelia, and I'll just force her. Let's pitch Ponder, because Tamiyo Brainstorm is the thing. Okay, Plow. Nice. All right. We're off to a great start. Don't waste me, please. That would actually be the scariest thing they could do, is waste me off white. I'm 1 mana away from being able to Leyline Bind. Riddler's fine. So they are on the... That would have been devastating. We would have lost had we not been able to stop Phelia there. I'm almost sure of it. They get 1 card. So, you know, I was dancing on their grave last game. Like, oh yeah, this card's so broken. But they're playing it too. It's not a reserve list card. It's not fundamentally broken like Tamiyo. It's just incredibly pushed. I'll be surprised if it ever gets banned. Let's put it that way. So here, I think this is just a Tamiyo. Well, I would like to brainstorm and find another land more than I'd like to flip Tamiyo. But I think what I can do is I can Tamiyo and then I can brainstorm, and that might evoke some sort of reaction from my opponent. Immediately brainstorming, but they don't have a removal spell. They probably have... Yeah, I don't like doing this, but it feels bad to like just throw away. I guess I could put the Wasteland in the yard and just not fight on that angle, but they do have a guy in Warp that they can't get back if I waste them here. I do think it's fine to keep these land. I just don't want to waste a land drop. So if they waste me, yeah, I'll stack it to where I'll draw the Hedge Maze next turn, and I'll waste this turn. Just for maximum interactiveness. This is ticking up, so they do have to do something. And it's possible that they don't have, because they're a 2-color deck, they may not have a lot of prismatic endings. Because I'm splashing a 3rd color, prismatic ending is way more viable for me. And if they do have a Daze in their deck, I want them to have to play that back out tapped. So I almost always go for the Surveil is not a big deal. I want the tempo loss of them having to play the land tapped if they Daze me for some reason. So next turn, we don't have Leyline Binding up, but we do have Plow and Prismatic Ending up, unless they waste me right now. Brainstorm. So this is another reason to put Wasteland in your deck, is you just keep your opponent from being able to cast their big guy. Okay, basic land. Stoneforge. So I will just Prismatic End this. They're probably going to get Meteor Sword because everybody gets Meteor Sword, even though it doesn't make any sense. I guess it makes sense in the context of being able to kill this, but like there are just so many other equipment. Okay, pre-war. That's a good one. I agree with that take. I'm sorry. I'm like presuming. I'm so presumptive. I'm such a dumbo, such a dum-dum. Like, yeah, like let's just wait and see what they're going to get before we make judgment. That's what I'm thinking right now. I'm just not happy with how I behaved there. Okay, so this is, we already know our top card. What I'm going to do is I'm going to see, like, it is pretty important that I clear this completely. If they have a Daze, it's pretty devastating. But they haven't dazed anything yet. I can always just regrow the Plow, but I can't Plow a second time if they force. I'm going to go ahead and do the high. I mean, we're probably just dead if they get pre-war out. It's so good. It's not like regrowing the force is going to help us here. Oh, wow. That's huge. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and plus it. Play this out. I'm just going to leave the Tundra. I mean, I wouldn't mind drawing a blue card so I could regrow a force, but if they waste, it could be devastating because I wouldn't have a white source. I do want to respect what could happen. It's fine for us to take it slow here. They're the ones that are under Tamiyo ultimate pressure. So they can just cast this and, okay, that's a good card. So they have pre-war Formal Wear. They could have cast it out of hand. I didn't think about that. It's not like you have to have the Stoneforge to cast it. So maybe it was actually a bad take for me to go after. So here we can play this out and then we can just take the coat. This is just a 2/2 that attacks, and it does take a loyalty off my Tamiyo, but it doesn't stop her. I think they probably messed up. They really do need to get Phelia on the table so they could blink this. I'm going to play out my land, and now I have... Let's do this. White. Leyline Binding. Okay, we rip a Ponder. I'll take that coat. Nice coat. Now plus, and I have Plow up. I mean, it's definitely tempting to just pull the force out of the bin, but I'm just going to try to threaten Tamiyo Ultimate. If they have a way to buff this somehow, then I can stop it. They are not going to have hasty beats here. I think they have to have prismatic ending. They're going to look for it. Yeah, it'll suck if I get a no value Tamiyo after all this time. I mean, it's a 1 mana investment. It's not a huge deal, but you're kind of like taking a ticket to the lottery. Like, you can win the game for 1 blue mana. Okay, what do they have in their hand? Do they have like a Hull Breacher? I'm going to let this through. It'd be dumb to blow my... because this is a 2/2. Oh, they could turn it over and it could be a... That's fine. If you want to burn... okay, and now I will plow this. So they're stopping the Tamiyo trigger to debuff. They have 3 cards in hand. Let's just plow this so we don't lose any loyalty and we can just immediately win. Oh, no! I'm so dumb. I thought this was part of the card. Okay, so Tamiyo is not going to ultimate, unfortunately. I'm so dumb. I'm sorry, my excellent friends. I didn't realize the ward was on the cloaked creature itself. I thought it was on the cryptic coat. Yeah, that was dumb. Okay. So my thinking here is let's ponder first. If we can find another Leyland Binding, we can start partying. But we won't be able to pay for the cloak. This is an any order shuffle. Force. I think I just keep plussing. I'm going to take away one of their lands. All right. Yeah, I'm sorry, my excellent friends. That was so embarrassing that I threw away that value. Now it totally makes sense what they were doing because they could have confidence that I wasn't going to be able to kill them. Okay, and now we lose, I think. They can blink this. Or they can blink this and get their Cryptic Coat back. But then I can just take their Phelia, which I will. Scariest thing they could do is probably be like play a Caracas. Okay. Yeah, and they did blink her. And they can attack me now with their for 2. Stoneforge Mystic. Yeah, is this game slipping away? Like, it felt pretty unwinnable, unlosable a minute ago. And like that one punt with the plow. Okay, now they have Meteor Sword. And if they get Meteor Sword in, they can just wipe my entire board. So we do need to remove this turn. So I'll go ahead and attack. I'll create a clue. And I'll crack that clue. Wasteland would be good, but really we just need to remove this immediately. Ah! Okay, we're going to get Meteor Sword twice. Can we survive that? I don't know that we can. Because they can take our Beanstalk. Man, this is embarrassing. This is an embarrassing game. I'm like seriously considering just conceding because I'm so embarrassed about that plow. And now everything is just spiraled out of control. They still have pre-war Formware. Meteor Sword, what are you taking? Beanstalk. Okay. And now they blink. And then they're probably going to get their Cryptic Coat back. This also grows this. So I can go put a plow on top to clear the Phelia. I think that needs to happen. Let's see what they do here. Meteor Sword kills that, giving them Cryptic Coat back. Okay. They get another dude. They've got quite an army over there. So let's put plow on top. They've got 3 cards in the hand. They could easily have a force by now. I'm going to go ahead and go to combat first, just to see what I draw off this clue. They can just pre-war to get a Phelia back next turn. I've got 9 minutes. I am seriously considering a tactical concession here. Another Tamiyo does give us force. Let's plow there. Okay. And yeah, they've got a lot of pressure on the table. Not a lot I can do here. I can play a land. I will do that. So we're looking at... pre-war just gets Phelia right back. And they are going to pre-war. So they can put this in the end step. And then they can just attack with her during their turn. And flicker Meteor Sword again. Laying waste to my board. I think I'm going to concede. I could cycle this and potentially flip Tamiyo. But I just value having a little more time. On the play, I think I'm going to take out these carpets. They do play Wasteland, but it doesn't seem to be a critical part of their deck. I'll bring in a consign trigger. Yeah, like consign for a trigger. Almost none of their cards are colorless. In fact, I think Meteor Sword might be the only colorless card in their entire deck. But being able to stop a trigger might be worth it. Especially if it's a critical trigger like a Stoneforge Mystic trigger, search trigger, or a Phelia blink trigger. Like stop something from coming back. I'll keep it. This is going to be a slow but steady. So this will probably just be a Surveil. But that does mean we're only going to have one white source. They're fetching. If they put out a Tamiyo, I'll immediately just plower. Okay, they're just powering. I do think next turn is going to be Quantum Riddler turn. Since they didn't play a wastable land. That stays on top. That's a great rip. I'm just going to go ahead and play it. It only makes my Riddlers better. They probably force. They don't force. Okay, well, then we're favored from here. Got lots of land flow, and I'm not worried about mana anymore. So we have some degree of inevitability. We just have to stop them from running over us with Meteor Sword or something like that. So this is Stoneforge. I can plow it. Yeah. I can plow and Riddler next turn. I'll Riddler first because there's the Meteor Sword. And they're going to have a lot of permanents to deal with here. I think the play is, let's go ahead and Riddler, and then I can plow after I've Riddlered. So I might find a force along the way. Okay, we found a Brainstorm and a Ponder. I'm just going to go ahead and plow. Please don't have the force. Okay. So they have a Meteor Sword in hand. This warps out. We've got a pretty stacked hand. If they play another land and it's non-basic, we can waste. I'm not sure how many basics they're playing. Like I usually just play one basic island, one basic plains, maybe two basic islands. Wasting me would be great. If you want to do that, please. Another Stoneforge. Okay, so we just need to find another answer. Cryptic Coat. Okay, they may have a force now. Another Beanstalk. I think I'm going to do it. Because it'll just make the next Quantum Riddler even better. All right, Lórien Revealed. I've already played my land for turn. I can just... No, I can't Surveil in the end step. I guess I'm just going to... I could Lórien Revealed in the end step. I think what they're going to do is they're going to Meteor Sword and start taking out our Beanstalks. By the way, I have tried to record with Meteor Sword, but it's just not that good. Like, I haven't been very impressed with it. A lot of heartbreak. But that's because I've been playing no reserve list decks. If I made a serious, like what the Eternal Weekend Asia top 8 guy was playing, maybe that would do better. I'm going to go ahead and get a Tundra here. They may start going after my white sources. And I only have so many of those left. I wouldn't mind pondering into something good, though. I think the disciplined thing to do is just chill. If they have Phelia, I need to stop it. I'm going to go ahead and ponder. I will get a Tundra. I've got 3 more. Come on, force. There's the plow I want for next turn, but I think this is a shuffle. Come on, give me a force. All right, we got the plow anyway, so that's great. They can't Phelia and put the Meteor Sword in the same turn cycle. It'll be interesting to see when they use the thing. Okay, they're just using it now. They're going to take out they're taking out our land. Okay. That actually is not that bad of a decision, but I can just get another one off Lórien Revealed. Okay, Prismatic Ending. Do I want to get a land? I'm tempted to just warp here and see what I find. But if I get the land first, then I can definitely get the land in for turn. I've got 2 more white sources in the deck. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do this. And I'll just go get the Tundra. So options. Of course, I could just plow this. That keeps them from putting the Cryptic Coat in at a discount, but it's like 1 mana discount. I think it's better to just Riddler here. I'm going to draw 3 cards. I will most likely have to discard if I do that. Is that big of a deal? I want to keep my mana up for Phelia. But they're not going to play Phelia for another turn cycle. I think I just get cards now. When in doubt, trust in the cards. Okay, another Wasteland. Oh, there's the force. Okay. Now we get another card. Okay, and then the card I'm going to discard is going to be a Wasteland, I think. It could be a Trop. Yeah, I think that's correct, to just discard the Trop. They're fetching here. They may plow. Okay, they're just surveilling. I mean, yeah, I think I put the trop out. I've already cast like two of the 4 green cards on my deck. I don't think they have a way to blink this immediately, like without Phelia attacking, which she's summoning sick when she comes in. She's attacking for 1 is fine. I've got less than 5 minutes. Wrath. No thanks. They daze. Okay. So they were playing daze. It's just the first we saw of it. Okay, now I have a Murk, so I can just kill him with Murk pretty quickly. They don't have a plow. I think I'm just going to waste them and try to tempo them. So let's put 1, 2, 3, 4 colorless. All right, and this is a kind of like a plan that the other deck can't pivot into. The previous decks I played didn't play Murktide, so they don't have like this sudden finisher. They may just have a plow for this. Okay, I think they have a Phelia. I have a Phelia. I'm going to go ahead and do this now. So, depending on what they do, if they put a Phelia in, I just plow. If they have a force for that, then we probably just lose, unfortunately. We don't have enough white mana. I chose to waste them. I'm going to plow here. I will not leyline, respecting the possibility of another daze. Ponder. High likelihood they find a plow. I'm choked on white mana, but I am going to play this out next turn, and then I'll have Phelia and Leyline Binding, and then the following turn I'll be able to cast Quantum Riddlers. All right, let's come in for a hug. All right, there's 6. Okay, do they have another Phelia? Is that what this is? It is. So it's very important, always set a stop in your turn. And then this comes in. There's no trigger, so we're going to do this. Leyline Bind. All right. Mark of their own. Unfortunately, I did tap out, so I can't do anything about this. I'll have to Phelia and blink it. I could have forced or brainstormed and potentially found a force there. I'm going to go ahead and brainstorm first. If I find a plow, I can just attack through this or another Leyline Binding. There's the plow. So what I'll do here is I'm going to waste. Then I'll draw. Get them off that land. Plow. Attack. I could go with another Beanstalk, but I think Phelia is probably better at this point. So I'll just wait and surprise with Phelia. That way, if they are able to clear this, I still have something hitting them. Tamiyo. Okay, they're down to 3 cards. I'm going to send in Phelia. Another daze. They scoop. Wow, that was intense. Those were great games. Hats off to my opponent. They played really tight, but we are the bigger control deck. I think they probably are better suited against like Delver and stuff like that, but I don't actually know whether that's the case, but like Phelia is great. It was cool to see Phelia on both sides of the table. Round 3, we're up against a Yorion strategy. Opponent plays Doomsday. Play lots of decks. Most likely they're on something like what we're on. I'm going to keep this. This is a forced blue card hand. We've got lots of interaction. We don't have white mana, but we do have 2 lands. Finding a white source will probably be a high priority here, especially if they Tamiyo here. I'm actually not set up to beat Tamiyo. I am seriously considering just forcing this here. Yeah, I think I'm going to force it because I don't have a quick answer for it, and it might be a few turns. Well, I mean, we've got we lead with Xander's Lounge. They get 1. Yeah, I'm gonna keep. They know I have a force though. I wouldn't have hesitated that long otherwise. Come on, white source, easy money. I think it's what Bosch and Roll says. So I am gonna go ahead and use this just to preserve because I might have to hit like a Murktide or something like that later, and I'm not gonna be hitting that with Prismatic Ending. Best time to deal with Tamiyo is immediately. Drop everything and deal with Tamiyo. Ignore your game plan. Deal with Tamiyo. Until she gets banned, you just have to... If you don't want to lose to Tamiyo, you have to prioritize her. She is a highest threat level. Okay, archive. So blue-white strategy. They're using this waterlogged teachings. I don't know what to think of that. It's a card that James Kisao has used in the past. It's used in the blue post deck. Options. We could just chill and not worry about days. It's rare that you see days in a Yorion strategy. I could Riddler. I kind of just like playing Xander's Lounge and chilling with days protected force up and a plow up. Now they're going to know we're on Beanstalk. They themselves are likely on Beanstalk. We're going to be forcing a... Ooh, Uro. I'm going to assume the game's going to go long. I'm just going to plow this now. Decks that play Uro often don't play a lot of other creatures. So they immediately get like a 2-for-1. It's like really like a 3-for-1 if they make the land drop. It's not technically a 3-for-1. That's not how it works, but like they get forward momentum and stuff. But we just don't have to worry about Uro coming back. I don't have any graveyard disruption in my 75. So that will inevitably come back. The game will go long enough. They're already up to 4 land. It's scary. I think the play here is I'm going to just see what's on top of my deck, and then I'll probably Riddler. I would rather play a Beanstalk if I can find one. Murk is a couple turns away. It's a good card. I think I Riddler, and the next turn I might be able to Murk. This land isn't particularly important. If they Thoughtseize me, which they're not representing, I think they're just on straight Bant like I am. But I wouldn't want my Murk Thoughtseized. So I'll do it like that. And we're just going to tear through this one. We are tapping out. Again, I don't think that's going to be an issue. I don't think my Yorion opponent is playing days. It's pretty uncommon to see that. If they daze here, I probably actually will force because I want to be able to cast this later. And I wouldn't mind having another sorcery in my graveyard. Next turn I can land, ponder, fetch, Murk. They have red in their deck. This is a force on their fourth Aerolingus. Yeah, I don't want this to resolve. I'd rather put a... I mean, Brainstorm is probably actually better because I've got a fetch coming. Now I've got the mana to deploy a Murktide here, but like realistically, they're going to have Plow. I'm going to go ahead and Brainstorm first. Okay. We've already made our land drop here, which was a mistake. I shouldn't have done that. Fourth Aerolingus is a reload. I'm going to keep the fourth and the Force of Negation. I'm going to go ahead and... Do I want to keep the potential to have this force in the yard? I think I'm just going to Murk everything. And then I can end step Lórien Revealed and then get the thing and then I can just play it. Lórien Revealed next turn. Yeah. I feel pretty confident they're just going to deal with this thing, but if they don't, it's huge. Like sometimes they just don't have the removal spell when they're in a giant Yorion deck. They probably have Leyline Binding and Plow, but if this gets a force, it's great. Because then... So again, if they don't do something dramatic, I am going to end step Lórien Cycle. Okay, they get the bird in a hand. Plow. I could protect the queen here. They're at 27 life. I think protecting the queen is folly. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and Lórien Cycle. I'll get another Tundra. That's the most important color. And now we will Lórien Cycle. Mystic Sanctuary. We can just put Lórien on top after this turn cycle. So we'll be holding up Force Negation unless we draw something better. That's fine. I could just cast this out of exile. I think that's actually totally fine. It's not going to give me 2 cards. It'll probably get forced. I'll still have Force Negation up for their knockout spell. Yeah, they forced there. They're down to 1 card. Pitching Yorion. They may have a Lórien of their own to reload next turn. I will force basically anything that I think is going to put them in an advantageous position. Okay, they're putting Fourth Aerolingus back on top, it looks like, and I'll just force that. And hopefully they won't have some sort of like Daze or Veil or Pyroblast or something main deck. They could be playing main deck Pyroblast. It's not unheard of. All right, and now we're going to Lórien Revealed. And we're going to be ahead a little bit, but like they have a lot of lands. They've already used their Mystic Sanctuary. This is a great showcase of like just control versus control. They're bigger control than I am. Insane. Absolutely insane. We can surveil in the end step. I'm loving our position now. This is the big guy. No. Is this another? Oh no, we're screwed. We're going to take a lot of damage here. Yeah, that's 8. I definitely need to get a blocker stat. The fact that they have so much mana and the Monarch is very scary. Let's go to Surveil. That stays. So there's a temptation to just play that instead of Beanstalking. But I think what I want to do is just get extra cards. Because a single plow and they've like wrecked me. Let's go blue. Warp. Okay, first card is Brainstorm. Second card is Plow. Okay, that deals with one of them. I don't like doing that, but I don't know if we have a better choice than that. If we can just stop this, we're pretty turtled up. We've been making our land drops. We will be able to play this out next turn. But they are getting 2 cards per turn. That's fine. Yeah, double Lórien. I haven't seen double Lórien or double fourth in a deck in a long time. I never played double fourth. I think I played 1. Okay, this is a big card. The 1 ring, no thanks. So we get a card. Another Riddler. Okay, so I'll plow one of these, and then when I cast Riddler next turn, I'm going to draw 2 cards. No, because of the Beanstalk I won't. I'm just going to keep the pressure off. They may be like hedging for a world in which we also have 4th Air Lingus, but we don't. I don't like it. Personally, I don't think it's that great of a card. So get their card. Okay, so it's very important that we have a critical mass of blue cards here to protect. I mean, this is 1 mana. Wipe one of their dudes, draw a card. I think I could try that. I do actually want to get a creature on the table. This will double trigger Bean, or this will give us a Bean trigger and Riddler. There's a Plow. Come on, give me a land. All right, that's not a land. So now there's not really a land I can waste to screw them up. I think I just keep this around. I could Riddler again, but that means I can't take out one of these. But it increases the likelihood that I find a, Leyline Binding. If I just warp this, I get 2 triggers. I'm just looking for more force, but like that does take me off the second blue card. I think it's better to just chill. I'm trying to think if there is any merit to wasting one of their lands. I think we just use the mana ourselves. Once we take the Monarch, like they've already likely, like I'd be stunned if they have a 3rd one of those. Okay, what do they have? Solitude. I'm just going to force this. I'm going to go ahead and Leyline Bind first, just in case I find a less consequential card to pitch. Okay, I found a land. That doesn't really help. I'll get rid of that. I think it's quite likely that they don't have a force to respond to this. I am going to go ahead and do this, even though I'm giving up on 2 triggers. Please don't have a force. They do have a force. Okay, so we're going to lose our Riddler. We get a card. It's just a land. So unfortunately, we're like so far behind now. They can attack for 8 or 4 here. They are Hellbent, but they're going to get a card. Best draw in our deck would be just another Riddler. We've gone through 2 of them, 3 of them. Yeah, we actually only have 2 win cons left in our deck, which is scary. All right, let's draw. I'm going to go ahead and start with a shuffle so I can keep the cards off Ponder. I should still have a land to find. Grab the Savannah. Let's Ponder. I'm trying to find Riddler. Murktide does it. So what I'll do is, and Lórien's a nice follow-up. So I'm definitely glad I fetched just because I might need all this mana. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this. Green. I don't think wasting them is going to help here. Draw trigger. Let's go blue, blue. Mark, double trigger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Blue, blue. Okay, There's the Lórien Revealed for next turn. I'll just pass with Plow up. I don't think it's correct to Plow now. They have Solitude in their deck. I'm going to let this happen. Land is the last card. They don't have good attacks. They are fetching with the Monarch trigger on the stack. Do they have a second Sanctuary in their deck? That's crazy if they do. Oh my goodness, they're going to have a second Sanctuary. They can Plow us. I can't waste them off island. They have tons of islands. Yeah, that sucks. I think we just lose. I have literally one. Yeah, they're going to put Plow on top. I'm going to concede the game. I have one win con left in my deck, and I don't want to burn a bunch of clock. My opponent's already about 4 minutes ahead of me. I just play slowly. So, I mean, Terminus might actually be worthwhile here because they do have a lot of creatures in their deck, and like it's an answer to a resolved thing. Force of Negation seems very justified. I do like Wasteland. Like, we can take them off lands. I think a lot of that, like, it may sound kind of weird to say it, but I think a lot of that was play draw dynamics. We were on the draw, and they were able to Uro really quickly and just establish their mana so much faster than us. They have a sheer volume of, like, so I could carpet. I think I pivot to carpet on game 3, but I can use carpet mana so well. They're going to have their own carpet mana, which is terrifying. Man, I have no idea how to side here. Let's think about it. Yeah, doing 30 damage with like one Quantum Riddler and maybe one Phelia, if I found her, would have taken forever. I think the way we win is we waste them a whole lot. So I'm not going to cut the wastes. I think Terminus is not the right call. I like the ability to spot remove creatures. I don't think we actually change anything here. Did they have a lot of prismatic endingable permanents other than Tamiyo? They will have. I think they're probably going to bring in carpet. Again, they're like way bigger than we are with double Mystic Sanctuary, Yorion, giant X spells that they end the game with. Hydroblast could come in. I'm not sure that it's good enough. I think I'm just going to run it back. I'm going to trust in the original deck building. And then game 3, we will bring in the carpets and we'll be more defensive. But we're on the play here. This is a keep. I didn't see any Wastelands from my opponent. They may not be playing them, but they probably are playing like 1 or 2. So I'll just do the aggressive thing, play my Tamiyo. Then next turn I can Beanstalk. I am very glad I didn't force the Tamiyo last game. That was the decision I was facing. And I managed to find white mana off the top. That was so clutch. So that was a very, like, I think structurally we're very unfavored in this matchup, but yeah. I'm going to go ahead and come in. They're letting me attack. Okay, and then I'm just going to beans. I'm going to save these fetches for later. And I'll just go with the, even though it's not an island, and it keeps me a little bit farther away from being able to do what I want to do. This is a green source. They force this, or Spell Pierce it. Xander's Lounge. Okay. All right, they may have just Savannah. Savannah plus Xander's Lounge equals turn 2. I mean, they could still just tap 2 mana and Leyline Bind it. That's fine. I can Leyline Bind their Leyline Binding and get my Beanstalk back and get another trigger. And I can do that next turn for 1 mana. That's pretty good. Okay, I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to flip my Tamiyo as well. Check this out. So we'll attack. No, I can't do it with flipping the Tamiyo. I am going to do it before I cast my spell. So we'll get Xander's Lounge. Now I'm going to ponder trying to find a force. Just in case. Wouldn't mind having a force anyway. Perfect. I don't want that Tundra. I am going to probably draw it though, unfortunately. I'll have to brainstorm it back somehow later. Now, oh wait, I could Lórien Revealed next turn to get it back. I am going to take this back now because I do want to flip my Tamiyo. Draw trigger, Tamiyo flips. And then what I do is during upkeep, I have to remember to Lórien Revealed to cycle so I don't draw yet another land. I can force this. I think it's fine. I'm not sure what they're going to target. This is card neutral. Unfortunately, this does mean I draw the land though. Okay, they force back. All right, so they're probably taking my Tamiyo. We got a good exchange there, though. I can't imagine them not taking Tamiyo. Okay, they take that. So now they get another binding trigger. Okay. And a Wasteland. And they're going to waste my Xander's Lounge probably to keep me off cheap Leyline Binding for the rest of the game. Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's fine. If only they knew how many lands I have in my hand. Oh no, more land. Come on, deck. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to crack the clue during their turn. Because I want to be able to surveil end step and see what I want to keep and then crack the clue. And I don't want to just be sitting here completely tapped out because it represents nothing. Yorion to hand. Okay. Okay. So they're kind of running low on gas over there. Let's go ahead and do our hedge maze here. That stays on top. That is very, very important. I'll draw it now. Okay. Quantum Riddler. Like it. I'm going to go ahead and brainstorm first. Okay. So Prismatic Ending doesn't really do anything against our board currently, but I can easily put back these two lands. Play this out. I'm going to fetch. Just clear those lands. We'll get another Tundra, I think is the best card to get here. I could have put a Force on top. I should have put a Force on top. Riddler. Draw trigger. This is probably going to get forced. They have a Force. Island. Ouch. Okay, there's a Leyline Binding. I can go ahead and Leyline Bind and just go ahead and get my Tamiyo back now. They may play a more worthy permanent. There's no benefit to getting her back now. I can get her back in the end step. Yeah, I'll just pass. I need to be mindful of my clock. I am 5 minutes behind my opponent. Part of it is casting, but even when I don't cast, like I do usually tend to be slightly slower than my opponents. Okay, so they could have Force of Negation here, which would be pretty good. So we get a draw trigger. I'm just going to go grab my Tamiyo back. Not bad. Options. I think we attack and then we just Lórien. And even if they counter it, we get like a card. So it's a 2-for-1. And if they don't counter it, we get to flip. I'm going to go ahead and get the Force and put it on top. We are definitely ahead this game. I can't remember. Our opponent, it was our previous game's opponent that had a daze. I don't think they have daze. So they're going to have to force this or blast it. Now we have the Force in our hand. We draw a ton of cards. We are going to have to go to discard and discard a couple cards. Not that big of a deal. Tamiyo flips. All right, so I'll discard an... do I even want to discard that island? I'm going to discard a Prismatic Ending, and I'll discard a Tamiyo. Does I already have one? No. I think it's fine to discard an island. I think I'm likely to just draw so many cards over the next few turns. So threatening Tamiyo Ultimate doesn't even really matter. I probably just regrow interaction. Like I force something and then I just regrow it with Tamiyo, is my thinking. And then I'll just try to Murk here. This is... I could just force it, which I think is fine. This might seem a little greedy. I'll just pitch a Tamiyo. I probably should have pitched a Ponder here. But I'm just trying to like completely stifle their development so they don't get an extra land drop. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and go... I could Riddler here. I think it's better to just Murk. I want to regrow that Force. Yeah, so I'll go like this. Blue, blue. Murk. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Blue, blue. Murktide comes out. I draw a trigger. Another Beanstalk. Love it. Go ahead and green, blue, beans. I just want to draw as many forces as possible now. I'm going to minus, get a Force. This grows the Murk. We're just going to try to ride this Murk to victory. We do have to discard a card. I will discard a Ponder. I mean, I could make a land draw for turn. I like that. There we go. Land for days. Let's go ahead and take them off the lounge. Let's see, that only cuts them off 1 mana reduction. Might be better to take... Yeah, I'll do it. All right. double force, double beanstalk. I think we're in a good position here to just protect the queen on this Murk. And then I have Riddlers. My main concern is winning game 3. I'll just force that. They tapped out for that. Draw. So we drew some lands, but I will be wasting them again next turn. Well, I punched them in the face with my giant dragon. Another force. Okay. Again, I don't think we can lose. It's just a question of how quickly we can win. Take them off that. I guess I could have taken them off green. Taking them off red actually would have been good because they may have, yeah. I'll just play this out. Do I? No, I'll play out the Phelia in the end step. It's fine. Putting force on top. Okay, no plays. Phelia is lethal. Solitude is going to be forced. I'll just pitch this brainstorm. I have lots of things I can do with my mana here. Okay. Wow. Okay, so that was being on the play. The Wastelands were pretty good there. Just managing our opponent. I think we wasted them 2 or 3 times. This game is going to be all about carpet and probably force negation. Let's think about this. So these keep us alive. I'm going to take out the Wastelands. And we're just going to try to generate copious amounts of mana for Lórien. We could cut plows. I mean, like, I haven't seen Murk. I've seen Uro. Maybe they're not even playing Murk. Murk is scary. I could cut 2 of these. I don't want to cut Prismatic Ending because they may have carpets of their own. I haven't seen a single Beanstalk from them. Are they not playing Beanstalk? Like, they're definitely playing Leyline Binding, which would communicate to me that they are playing Beanstalk. They've just been extremely unlucky despite their draws and haven't drawn any. Like, I don't know. If they're not playing Beanstalk, they're doing it wrong, frankly. Beanstalk is just an insane card. I think it's fine to cut up another plow. We can hit Uro with Prismatic Ending. And the main thing is I just want to stop them, like 4th Aerolingus, stuff like that. I'm going to turtle up, and I'm just going to try to draw as many cards as I can and use my carpet mana. And I think almost always when you bring in carpet, you bring out waste because their lands feed your carpet. I don't like Terminus here. It just seems way too situational. Maybe we don't need all 4 forces. Maybe we want an additional plow in. Because I can see a situation where I turn 1 Tamiyo just wrecks us and we don't have a quick answer. Yeah, maybe I just do like that. Yeah. I think I'll do that. I want to respect the creature part of their deck. Okay. 8 minutes, 46 seconds on the clock to their 16 minutes. So we're way behind. Again, I'm not going to apologize for my slow play, but I will explain it. This is a keep. This is a good hand. I'll just play Xander's Lounge. They did waste me last game. They could waste here. No. I can high roll so much harder with carpet. Let's mulligan to carpet. There we go. This is much better. Can you believe I was thinking about, seriously considering keeping the previous hand? This is so much better. I can even lead with a Savannah in a carpet so they don't get carpet benefit. How about that? I'll put back this island. If they're able to remove my carpet, then I am precariously on 1 blue source. But it can be a basic island. And you may see situations like this. My instinct is to just go ahead and play into it anyway. Like, they may Prismatic End it, but like, they can only fetch for so long without getting an island in play and eventually giving you benefit. And I've seen people go to extreme measures to try to deny me carpet mana, like wasting their own lands and stuff like that. But I think you just have to accept that your opponent has mana ramped a little bit, and my opponent's smart, and they just accept. Carpet of Flowers, some of the best art in all of Magic the Gathering, by the way. Don't Prismatic Ending my carpet. Okay, Beanstalk does make an appearance. I can't interact with this. They are favored from here on out, but we are going to get 2 mana. So I can Leyline Bind it. I am going to add blue. Am I going to add blue? I could add white. I think I add blue, and then I just go fetch the land, and then I Leyline Bind their Beanstalk. Then I can Tamiyo. I could Brainstorm to see what I put back, but I could Tamiyo and Brainstorm in the same turn cycle. I like that. They're tapped out. They may force the Brainstorm. This is 0 value Tamiyo if they are able to remove her. My own Beanstalk. I'm going to put back this Plow. Put back this Tundra. I've already made my land drop for turn. Tamiyo flips. I'll plus her. Go ahead and fetch. I'm going to go ahead and remove this during their turn. Actually, if I remove it during their turn, that turns off Force Negation. I'm trying to think of what they could do in response. They wouldn't be able to Leyline Bind exactly back. I think I do it during their upkeep just out of respect for Force Negation because it's almost certainly in their 75 or their 95. And unfortunately, if they're able to deal with this, they can get the card back and they get another card. But it's like my opponent was going after mine, and I think that's correct. Brainstorm. Looking at 9 cards over there. Very scary stuff, but we do have the carpet, which is insane. If they remove our carpet, we're pretty stone-aged, frankly. We still have Tamiyo. They're looking for Prismatic Ending or Leyline Binding, which they can cast if they can find the Xander's Lounge. This card is so strong, my goodness. When it came out, we all laughed about it, but we didn't know that they were about to print Beanstalk. Well, we didn't laugh about the card, but we laughed about Wizards saying it on the band announcement. Like, hey, we think Leyline's great. And that totally makes up for having like degenerate cards in the format. But then when they printed up the Beanstalk, now this is like one of the best removal spells in the format. Okay, our opponent has resolved their Brainstorm. They're fetching. Okay, there's a red source. They may just pyro this. Yep, that's fine. I mean, that was a 1-for-1 technically. I did burn a Brainstorm, but I had 2 Brainstorms, so it's not that big of a deal. All right, and now I am going to add a lot of blue. Actually, should I add green? I'm going to add blue. Yield. Yes. I actually think I'm going to add green here. Going to play this out. They have a force. They should use it. They do. Okay. And I could have absolutely just, pondered into a force before I did that. And I would have found it, frustratingly enough. Do I want to shuffle these away? These cards are insane. I think I'll just take the force now. And next turn I can Lórien Revealed with all the mana they're giving me. So I'll burn off this mana. There's nothing to remove. And we'll just chill. It's a precarious turn. Yeah, in retrospect, I absolutely should have gotten... being able to force that Beanstalk through would have been very strong. They need to remove this pretty badly. Wasteland does hurt. I'll force this. I need to protect this to my last dying breath, basically, this Leyline Mining. This Carpet of Flowers. Okay, they're down to 2 cards. They haven't used Yorion yet, so they can go get Yorion. Add a bunch of mana. So if I wait a turn cycle, I get to Lórien Revealed. I don't think I can wait a turn cycle. I need to go get a Tundra here. Okay, and then we're just beholden to the top of our deck. But I'm not going to get completely taken out of the game due to another Leyline Binding. I guess they Leyline Bind. I can Leyline Bind back. Okay, so they're going to tap this. And when they do, I can respond. Are they going to wait till my turn to tap it? Galaxy Brain. I do think it's correct to just get rid of it this turn cycle. No, I'll wait. It's 2 mana though. All right, let's do this. This is a good... Wait, why didn't I get the mana from Carpet? Oh, they have protection. Oh my goodness, I can't target them. That's so insane. I'm just going to chill, and I'll do it next turn. When they tap this, I will exile it with Leyline Binding. They won't get a card. But they can get this back at any time with their own Leyline Bindings. Pretty terrifying. So they don't get a card. That's pretty clean. All right, come on. Don't do anything to my Carpet. Oh, another one. Oh, what the hell? This is how it goes, huh? They should totally tap it now. Yeah. Damn, we're going to lose. We're going to lose. We don't get our Carpet mana. We don't get the Lórien Revealed. Come on, give me something I can cast this turn. I can't actually even cast that. So hear me out. I could go get a land, play this out just so I have more mana next turn. I actually think that that's good risk diversification. So I'm going to go, even though it means that we're not going to get 3 cards, like them finding anything that stops that, like completely devastates us because we just don't have any mana production for when we do draw cards. But they're way far ahead. And the One Ring, instead of Beanstalk, I guess. Well, no, we did fight over a Beanstalk, right? They do have Beanstalk in their deck. Now they flipped their Tamiyo. Yeah. And this is just the case of like the bigger control deck bullying the smaller. Which, yeah. And like here, this Wasteland would be pretty devastating, but it's not going to be that big of a deal since we have double carpet. Okay, if we can rip like a Lórien Revealed right now or a Quantum Riddler. Oh. Okay, the game's over. Sorry. If you were hoping for me to like try to fight that out, there's no way. They've got active ring. They've got active Tamiyo. Let's see what we would have eventually drawn. You know, it wouldn't have mattered. Like we were way too far behind. Round 4, we're 2-1 after losing to a bigger control deck. This is an example of a hand that I will keep that doesn't have a land because we got Lórien Revealed and we can go get a land. So I'll just keep with a Wasteland open. That'll keep a lot of ambiguity. And then because we have forced blue card, we also have like if they're on a tempo deck, we have tons of interaction for it. And they have historically played tempo decks. We're on the play too, which is nice. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and get a Tundra here. That way I can make a land drop. Hopefully I draw something to do. Okay, I can actually just play this out, and I don't even have to expose this to Wasteland, which is nice. So I'll almost certainly just surveil here. They can't really surveil themselves. I will waste if they surveil. I'm going to try to bully their mana base. Okay, so I'm going to leave the stop here so they don't get a chance to untap if they do go for the surveil here. Okay, they don't. That's fine if you want to get a suboptimal end-step brainstorm. I'm not going to stop you, but that does tell me they may be on a combo deck, or they may be playing Lórien Revealed themselves, which is a situation where you can still get a perfect brainstorm, even with end-step brainstorms. Because you just do this Lórien Revealed at the upkeep. Yeah, that second ring. My goodness. I'm sorry. I'm still like reeling from the previous round. Okay, it's a big deck. This is show and tell, maybe? Stock up. I think I'm going to force the stock up. Then I can kill the ring. I can waste this, and they won't have a lot of resources. Let's try this. But I think they're on mono blue sneak it or Omnitel. Okay, they are flustering. Can I pay for this? No, I cannot pay for this. Well, that is unfortunate. And this is a card that is not particularly good for control decks, but a lot of combo decks play this. So they're going to be able to potentially find like, yeah, we've completely drawn the wrong half of our deck for this matchup. Like it's pretty pathetic, actually. These are all cards that are coming out. I am having fun though. I like this deck a lot. Okay, let's go at Surveil. I don't expect them to be playing Wasteland. And if we had just drawn, oh, that goes in the yard. Come on, let's. I don't even know what we're going to find here. Like we waste this, they just have an Ancient Tomb or something, and they're show and telling us. Phelia is a good card. All right, I'm going to waste. Just to deny them a little bit of mana, even though they were probably going to play a land anyway. It just denies them a burst of land mana. Then I'm going to Phelia, and we're going to hope to high roll into something that interacts favorably with Phelia, like Beanstalk or Riddler. I don't believe for a second that they don't have a land drop after having stocked up. I had the Wasteland face up. This is a cool looking island too, by the way. I don't know what set it's from, but it's got that cool like kind of like turbine look to it, like the bladeless Dyson fans, which produce basically no cooling effect. They're like pathetically bad at their job. Don't ever get one of those. Victory of style over substance, I guess. Riddler? Do we get a Riddler? Oh, Murk. I mean, Murk is not terrible. I mean, sadly, it is a Murk. I can attack first, just in case they do have like some sort of interaction. They're not going to have it, but 2 damage. We have exactly enough to Murk. And again, this is a dimension that the previous builds didn't have, is the ability to potentially close a little quicker with Murk when you're up against these decks that just are like ships passing in the night type combo decks that barely interact. We've drawn the right amount of lands. I'll give us credit for that. Okay, they're going to get a perfect brainstorm here. They may have a force for this to slow our clock dramatically. I think we're almost certainly dead. They may just be waiting to get a card because they know that we're likely playing a Leyline Binding. So they have to find like Cunning Wish in addition to the cards they're looking for. Oh, they have red in their deck. That or they're just playing mono blue with... But they could be on Sneak and Show now. Sneak and Show is much more likely to play City of Traders than I think Omnitel is. Omnitel is about stable mana. Stock up again. Ponder with the insulting white border. Some people like white border the decks just to like tell people like me. It works. I am like obsessed with black border. Like it just feels wrong to play white border cards in my mind. Okay, this is unfortunate because we're just 1 mana short of being able to actually use this, but I will attack for 7, and unfortunately it's just not going to matter. Like you can see that they have 0 permanents in play that aren't lands, so these prismatic endings are a joke. They're they're technically dead next turn, but there's no way that they're not going to win next turn. Like they've had so much card selection. Brainstorm, Ponder, Stock Up. They stock it up twice. All right, Petal, just put me out of my misery over here. I drew the wrong half of my deck. Okay, this is Sneak Attack, I think. Yeah. I mean, like I might be able to plow something here, but I'm actually at 18, but Emrakul still kills me. So this works. Yeah, good game. Like I'm not going to play to the world in which they don't draw an answer and we're able to kill them. I think that's extremely unlikely. Force Negation, Hydroblast. Consign to Memory is probably better than nothing. Like it can stop like a trigger. It's a blue card. Check this out. I'm going to take out like literally all my white cards except for Binding. Am I going to take out Phelia too? Like the only reason I'm keeping Binding in is Show and Tell, but it's not a great card. But it does, like, it would be a mistake to take it out when it could just be kind of like an additional counterspell, kind of, if they are casting Show and Tell. I could put Carpets in. They are heavy, but they play a lot of soul lands, so I don't think that's correct. I think Wasteland is better. They could play Magus of the Moon, so Island is important. I think the odds that we're actually casting this are very low. So I could take out Savannah. It's just like the worst land, basically. It's not blue. I do think I take out Phelia here. She's not blue. She can help accelerate, but like she did almost nothing that game. In fact, I would say she did like less than like she would have been way better as just a blue card that we could have used to pitch Force Negation, even though realistically they were absolutely going to have more. So now I just don't need to worry about any color but blue and green. This comes in off of. I could even cut one. Yeah, I think that's fine. And I do kind of want to cut another land. I think I cut the Xander's Lounge. Like I'm simply not going to be casting this in most instances, and paying 3 mana to cast it is totally fine. Let's do it. So the strategy is counter like any 3-drop they put on the stack. Tamiyo is a keep. This is a snap keep. So we can Tamiyo, then next turn we can Brainstorm, and then we try to take up Tamiyo, and that's our win con. Once you have a grip full of forces, you will win. Okay, our opponent keeps 7. So we're going to go ahead and drop our Tommy. The Tommy gun. All right, white border Ponder. All right. Opponent doesn't do anything. I would like to make a land drop here. I'll go to combat. Pyroblast can take her out in her flip form, but we do... I can't shuffle any of this away. I'll just play the island out here just in case they do have Magus. Murktide's pretty far away, especially second Murktide. I could play the second Tamiyo just to start cracking clues, but that means that I won't be able to Brainstorm later without worrying about colliding. I could regrow if I think that they're going to blast. I think we just pass. We have Consign up. Like, I don't think Consign does anything here. They may have Spell Pierce in addition to Fluster, but usually it's one or the other. Okay, Petal is annoying. I could actually just consign the pedal. I think it's pretty weak, but it's a 1-for-1. I could consign the Storm on Flusterstorm later. I think what they're going to do right here is they're going to do exactly what they did the previous game, where they cast stock up and then I try to counter and then they counter that. So one way to stop that is just to boom. Okay. Show and tell. No, thank you. You have even more interaction after this. I think you probably do if you're willing to nakedly do this. What? Okay, that's luck. That is luck right there. All right, we're actually not that far from casting a Murktide here. I'm gonna go ahead and brainstorm because I might need to regrow a force. Oh, actually, this is fine. I'll put these two back. I'll draw one off the Riddler. We're gonna get 2 cards off Riddler. This is where Riddler is at his best, drawing 2 cards. Now I think we minus to get force. Yeah. I've got lots of win cons now, other than just, yeah, so double force up, and then we're not that far from casting Riddler. I feel pretty happy about the decision to consign that pedal. I do think they likely just went for it there, thinking that was our only interaction. So Tamiyo takes up. Okay, I can just play Murk outright here, but that does mean that I only have 1 force up. I think the correct thing to do is just chill for a turn cycle. I can crack this clue. And then if I find another land, I can play out this Riddler. But this way I can most likely pay for a Flusterstorm. Brazen Borrower, yeah, sure. That's no threat at all to me. I mean, that can technically hit my Tamiyo, but it's not that big of a deal. She plussed. Yeah, I really question the logic of even having this in their 75. Or having it in their main deck, like after, or they're like boarding this in. I presume they boarded it in. It's fine. So they'll be able to keep our Tamiyo in check, but I'm about to play a Murktide, so it won't be a big deal. Let's go ahead and do this. Ponder. All right. There's the Beanstalk, which is exceptionally good. Let's go ahead and use it. Draw trigger. Another Beanstalk. I think the play here is we haven't made a land drop, so I could ponder and then I could potentially fetch and deploy a Murk now, which would be pretty good. And we still have double force up. Holy guacamole, these cards are good. I think I just wait with like all the forces and just play it slow. Yeah. I mean, I don't think we can lose if we just be patient here. They would need like a perfect storm of interaction. So next turn is Murk. I'll actually Beanstalk and then Murk so I can get 2 cards for it. I think this game came down to them show and telling too early. I don't mean to like be overconfident and like prescribe the end of the game, but I feel like this game is extremely over, and it's because they went for this like before they were ready. All right, so we might actually have to discard, which is crazy. I just need a fetch here, and I can play the Murk. I think I just Riddler and just try to draw in a land. I'll draw 3 cards. I'm almost certainly going to draw a land here. Okay, there's the land. Crazy. Okay, so now I think I just pass and discard. What do I discard from this situation? Leyline Binding is only good if they... Yeah, I'll just discard Leyline Binding. Consign might be good. It probably won't be. I mean, I could have like consigned that trigger actually. Oh, I can still consign it because they put something on the stack. I passed priority. So I'll just consign this trigger and then I'll keep this. I don't need to put anything on top. I'll just take this and I will consign here. Okay. And we've got a giant blocker. We've got an active Tamiyo. We've got triple force under double Beanstalk. There is no way we are losing this. Okay. My opponent agrees. They don't even know how stacked our hand is. I think we just run it back. Like, this seems like the right amount of ley line. Yeah, I'm very happy with how that game went. All right, game 3. I like this hand. I'm going to keep it. It's not a great hand, but like we have double ponder. So what I'll be looking for is more lands and more forces. We hit the ley line binding if they early show and tell. It's not a lock. It's not like it's just, haha, I countered your show and tell, because they will usually have something good that they can put in. But like if they're not prepared, this is another layer of protection. These cards are fine. I'm not at all opposed to wasting them repeatedly. What are we working toward? We're working toward getting Murk. I think what I do is I don't need this trop. I will take the Wasteland. I'll take the Lórien now. There's one more card I can potentially pitch to Force, but I'd like to put that in my graveyard so I can Murk. Because Murk is just like a great win con against their deck. They're unlikely to be able to interact with it. They do have Brazen Borrower in their deck. I'm going to waste them repeatedly. I'm going to go after their mana this game. Boseiju. Carpet. Since I'm going after their mana, it makes sense to force this. I will pitch the Consign. They Pyro, probably. They force back. Okay. They have this. That's fine. So this is going to come in, but I am still going to probably waste them a couple times. They get 1 mana. Okay. I'm going to take them off red. I believe that to be the more important of the colors. I could ponder here, but I know one of the top cards is just a trop that I don't want. I think it's better to just Lórien cycle. But I might be able to just not have the Lórien cycle. I am going to need a second blue source eventually to stick this Murk. Let's see. Let's think about this. Next turn, I could waste them and I could Murk. No, I can't because I need to play the second land that I get off of this. I do think it's correct to just chill and step Lórien cycle, but there is a risk that they could explode with the mana that they have and show and tell. They just need a single land and they could show and tell, and then my landline binding is the only layer of protection I have. This can only get islands, which only feed the carpet. I would need to... there is a world in which I just play out this, and then I go get a Tundra, and then 2 turns from now, I leyline bind that. But this is good protection. If I ponder, like, I can almost certainly play Murktide next turn. I'm going to go ahead and ponder. Okay. These cards are fine. What I'd like to do is Beans. I don't really need this trop. I'll just put it to the bottom. I will take the Tamiyo, I guess, and the Beanstalk. And next turn, I just have to upkeep Lórien Revealed so I don't draw... Do I even want this? I don't think I need this. I'm going to be low mana, so it'll be hard to cash these in, but I will take this. Okay. Hopefully they don't go yet. That's like what terrifies me is I'm not ready yet. Stock up. I can't do anything about that. That's scary. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to play the Wasteland. I'm going to cycle, get a land. So I don't draw the Tamiyo. I'll take the Tundra here. Now I draw for turn. That's a great rip. Play out the Wasteland, and then I'm not going to use it. I'm so tempted to use it, though. Oh, I'm so tempted. Let's think about this. So what we can do, I mean, there's a very good chance that we just have to Beans next turn and give them 2 mana. So if I waste, it's tough. I think I just play it extremely patiently and leyline bind this. And they may not have enough mana, but they did just stock up, so I presume they're going to hit their land drop. This is the difference between them show and telling next turn and spending another turn having to accumulate mana. But then I can't ever leyline bind this. Maybe I just give up on leyline binding this, and what I do is I go up the Beanstalk next turn, and they get 2 mana, and then I have force up, because I might not be able to cast this because this is going to get pitched to a force effect. I think I have to do this. And I think I just have to hold this as a hedge against them show and telling me. I could draw another leyline binding. The best draw would probably actually just be another Wasteland. Okay, they are not using the mana at all. I've got them in a really good position. I could... I think I play the Murk. No, I'm going to play the Beanstalk. They're going to get 2 mana. It sucks. I may be digging my own grave here, but this is going to be really strong with the blue card that I just drew. This is a dead card. I don't want to play that out. Now they have 3 mana again. They can stock up. They can do lots of stuff. I will force the stock up. Show and tell. I'm going to force this. They force back. Unfortunately, this is going to resolve. So if this is an Atraxa, which it most likely is, I take it out, but it's not the end of the game. If it's okay, so we're gonna take that out of play. Do they have an instant? They do not. Okay, wow. That was fireworks. They're down to 2 cards. They must have something that they can use to win. I don't want to play any more land. I'm just gonna Murk and hope to hit a force. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maximum size, 2 swings. Draw trigger. Force. Yes, yes, force. Oh my goodness, we're so set. That was a huge draw. Absolutely massive. So they still have the 3 mana, but I'll force, stock up, I'll force anything they put on. That's a lot of mana. Sneak attack. They have a freaking mana to activate it. Pitch the consign. I do think pitching the consign is correct here because we can ponder into potentially another force here. Oh, another Murk. That doesn't really help. They burn off the red. Burn off the red. Yes! Oh my goodness. Are we going to actually win this game? This is like pretty much a nightmare matchup in my mind. I would really have loved to draw a... What do we do here? I think I took the Savannah out because I didn't expect carpet. I didn't see any green previously. Yeah, Savannah's out. So there's no non-island target here. But they have so much mana. Might make sense. What I can do is I can ponder and then I can just make this, like buff this further and put even more power on the table. That doesn't really change anything. I'd rather just hold up a force, but that does give me a card draw. I mean, I can't draw a Leyline Binding and cast it in the same turn cycle. I'm going to go ahead and ponder here. Force negation is where it is at. And you do not need to say the at the end of that, by the way. Where it is technically grammatically sound as well. So you might run into a pedant who gives you a hard time if you're like, that's where it's at. Okay. Now, tapping Tomb. I'll just go ahead and play this. Just in case they fluster. They are going to attempt to do something here. Well, they have tapped out of all their colored mana. May this be the end of the game, please. They have 1 card in hand. Good games. Holy cow. We're 3-1, losing only to the Yorion version of our deck. Before we go into the final round, just some quick observations. First of all, we stole that last round. That is not a good matchup at all for control. We also stole the Ruby Storm matchup. So we're getting some serious luck. We got some sick top decks there. We're up against Minstrel Sauce in the final round. I have no idea what that means. They are an unknown opponent. We are on the play. I think this is doable. It's not exciting. I'm going to keep it. Like, this is a really bad card to have in your opening hand, but we can potentially brainstorm it away. You might be like, why did you keep this? I mean, I have a lot of faith in Quantum Riddler, and also the deck is all about getting his lands under it, and we have mana. It's much better to keep like a high land count hand than a low land count hand, in my humble opinion. I can Surveil. That does remove the possibility of brainstorming these back later, but I think it's worth it because I don't want to subject any of this to Wasteland turn 1 because my plan is to Quantum Riddler as soon as possible. They said, hey, cool channel. And I said, the Jenks, because I can't type for the damn. Okay. So forest opening, the most honest of openings. That is going to go in our yard. We don't need more lands. Let's not draw land. Come on, deck. Okay, Lórien Revealed is kind of like land, but it's not really. I think this is just a simple Quantum Riddler turn. Just get a card deeper into our deck. I'm very excited to have Murk back in the deck. Like, you just can't deny this is like, we wouldn't have won the previous round without pressure from Murk. I don't think. All right, so we're getting our Riddler draw. It's a trop. We got a lot of land up in here. But I mean, we can cast fourth, like Lórien Revealed. I always mix this up with Fourth Aerolingus for some reason. They're just like silly kind of names that I know are important to Lord of the Rings fans, but the diacritic on the O here always trips me up. It's so hard to type this into MTGO to like find the card. All right, just an honest loam. Okay. Yeah, so they can start dredging. I have no idea what they're on. This is beans. We like beans. I can just wait and see what this yields before I decide which land to use. I'm thinking that I play the Trop just so I can at least Mystic Sanctuary like a force back later. Holy guacamole, we're getting it hooked up. I mean, there's a possibility that I need to plow something, but like almost certainly they said, I knew it was beans. All right. So I'll just chill. Always with the beans. Pretty much. Like this is like I've been playing beans on and off since the card was printed. I played it Eternal Weekend. Oh, Tabernacle. Oh, what's this? Helix Principle. Shroud. Put X tower counters on this enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, if there are 100 or more tower counters on this enchantment, you win the game. Okay. They've got 2 of these. 2 of these. So they're going to produce like Boku de mana, apparently. They said, blah, blah, blah. I have no idea what that word is, but I think they may have just manually typed this because usually it'll do star, star, star. Okay. Crop rotation. That works. I would definitely say like Stoneforge Mystic is like my real kind of comfort zone where I've always felt comfortable, but it's just not very good right now. So, are you going to waste me? By all means. I've got nothing but lands in my hand. I mean, I could use this opportunity to just go ahead and get a land out of my deck. And that puts it in the yard where we're going to be able to get a quick Murk here. I think that's fine. I'll just grab another... They're wasting a Trop. I'll just get another Trop. Yeah. Okay. And I mean, like technically like 50% of my green cards are represented on my board and in my hand. So it's not that important to get a Trop. Tundra is definitely more important if they are able. Yeah, I probably should have gotten a Tundra. Okay. So they have the ability to waste me again next turn, but there's no way that they're going to catch up with that. Tamiyo is something I can do in addition to beans this turn cycle. I'll just play this out. The more you eat them, the more you toot. Beans, the magical fruit. And then once we resolve Murktide, we're going to be so far ahead in terms of cards. A Wasteland of our own. If you haven't seen the movie A League of Their Own with Gina Davis, Tom Hanks, whenever I said that for some reason, a Wasteland of our own. It's like the Grapes of Wrath. Honey, this wasteland is all ours. Okay, Tabernacle, sure. I'm going to flip Tamiyo next turn. They didn't waste me. I'll just pay for it. I love how it's considered a triggered ability. Like, yeah, she wants to pay the tithe. All right. I think the simple thing to do here is we can just play Murk. Yeah, I think I play out the Savannah and I'll save this for later because I need all those cards in the graveyard to be able to deploy my Murk. Blue, colorless. Murktide. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, whoa, Scoob. We're going to get our clue. Can't forget the clue. That would be very remiss of me. I'm a value hound, and I need that clue. Need it in my bones. Now you can flip Tamiyo. First, you have to do your internship before you get the your librarian role. Okay. She's a full librarian. She's earned her master's of library sciences. Shout out to librarians. I'm a huge fan of public library system in the United States and of librarians. I use them all the time. Anybody's like, "Ooh, what? Why are we paying taxes?" Blah 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 blah. Go use the library. Living Plane. All lands are 1/1 creatures that are still lands. Well, that does wreck my mana base, doesn't it? So I'm going to be losing a land every turn cycle because I want to keep this Murk alive. Or I could just not. I am very worried about what's to come, but I'm going to be wasting this Tabernacle now. Gosh, this is terrifying. What does this mean? If I Leyline Binding in the upkeep, does that mean that this enchantment goes away and they don't die? I think they may still die. Yeah, man, that's tough. Okay, so what I think I have to do is pay. Then I play a Wasteland. I can let this go and just keep taking up Tamiyo. I have to have faith that like Tamiyo Ultimate will beat them. This is a very interesting conundrum they've placed us under. I do want to keep all these lands. So I'm not going to pay for Murktide. No. I'll just go ahead and tap all these because I'm going to pay for them right now. Like, it would be pretty bad if my opponent... Yield to all. Yes. 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 Wait. How does this work? Oh, I have to choose a color? Okay. This is an annoying interface. Okay. That worked. We draw. If I take out the Tabernacle during their turn, they can't replay it. Oh, because this is a freaking... Oh my goodness, it's got summoning sickness. Oh, what a devastating thing. My opponent says, I can't believe I got to do that. Woot woot. Yeah, I thought that game was locked up. I'm like, oh, I'm up against some rogue brew. I'm about to get freaking Armageddoned. They probably have something that does damage to all their lands. But, like, unfortunately, I'm going to have to do another turn cycle of just paying for all these. And if they just waste my Wasteland, there's nothing I can do. I'm worried about my clock, too. Tabernacle is one of the most clock-intensive cards. I guess I should just F6 to save time here. I have no interaction here. I haven't seen this card ever. Living Plane. Enchant World. It must be from Legends. That is the Timmy thing. By the way, there's the paradigm of the Timmy gamer. There's a Spike gamer who's like a really serious player, and then there's the Timmy gamer who, yeah, there's the Wasteland. It's summoning sick. Okay, let me try to think about how to navigate this. So I think first, I want to go ahead and see what happens. Like if I remove this, if I still have to pay, I think I do. But I do need to exile this now. Gosh, I have to pay 3 mana. I could lose 3 lands. But if I remove this... So they can just replay this next turn. They loam and they replay... But they don't have access to mana. They'll lose all their lands. So I'll just lose something else. And then I can waste the Tabernacle. And then I don't... Oh, wait, they have the freaking mana to do it. Oh, I have to wait till their... I wait till their turn. And then all the triggers go on the stack. And then I waste it. And so that way they have tapped all their lands down. So I need to pay for this with something else. Okay. Oh, I can just wait. I can just plow their freaking Tabernacle. Yeah. I'll just plow their Tabernacle. They can't even get it back. Okay. And what land am I going to lose? I guess I probably just lose this Hedge Maze. It would suck if they had another Tabernacle. So I will pay for that. I'll pay for this. Pay for this. I'll pay for this. And I'll lose the Hedge Maze. Okay. Now we go to our turn. We draw another Leyline Binding, which is nice. Mystic Sanctuary to rebuy the plow. I don't like. I think we just play this. That way we can go get the next turn. We can go get the card that allows us to do 1 mana Leyline Bindings. If they have another Tabernacle, it's going to be a huge pain in the butt. This is not a fun deck to play against. I will say that. I respect the brew, but this is not a fun deck to play against. Also, okay. They didn't find a Tabernacle there. They didn't actually find anything. Their hand, I believe they may have still a Wasteland. I'm about to draw half my deck. 3 Turbine. At the beginning of your upkeep, add 2. Okay, that doesn't matter. Oh, wait, they did have another freaking Tabernacle. What a joke. Oh, my goodness. I'll never be free of this card. Oh, so what I'll do is I'll let this trigger go on the stack. Then I can fetch. Please don't waste my fetch. Oh, my goodness. What a crazy round 5. At least I'm up against a fan of the channel on a deck that's never been featured in 200 episodes. Yeah, they are going after my Wasteland. 200 plus leagues, I think, that I've recorded, and I've never faced this deck in any of those. So hats off to Minstrel Sauce for truly bringing the sauce. Yep. Okay, so I can draw my deck here. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. If I draw my deck, I'm almost certainly going to draw a plow, so I don't necessarily need to... Okay, so this, I'll just go ahead and fetch. I will let one of my lands go. Oh, no, it's non-land permanent. It's non-land permanent. There's no real point in getting this. Well, yeah, I can go after the land, the enchantment itself. Okay. That one dies. It doesn't matter because it's already dead. I will pay for this one. Yes. I will pay for this one. Yes. And then this one I will not pay for. I will instead go ahead and just Leyline Bind. Draw 2 cards. Force negation, nice. We're going to take out their Living Plane. Hopefully they don't have like Boseiju to get it back. That unfortunately dies. Okay, now I'm going to draw half my deck. Do I actually want to draw half my deck? The problem is I might get decked before I can kill them. I think I just play this out. That way I have another Leyline Binding if they attempt to do the same thing to me. And I can regrow a Plow. Yeah, I'm worried that I'll deck myself. I'm not worried about running out of things to do here. Sure, I'll just grab that. Go ahead. So I cast Leyline Binding. I get to draw 2 cards. And then one of those cards might be a blue card that gives me force in case they have another Living Plane. But I can just wait for them to play the Living Plane and then exile it with Leyline Binding. They do have me waste locked. Okay, they're going after that one. I'm going to go ahead and take this Thran just to draw a card. They will actually be able to cast Living Plane, but I have a blue card to go with it. Okay, I don't think this really matters, but it does matter in the sense that like now they can't pay for Leyline Binding. This is obviously a non-reserve list deck because Tabernacle. I'm just going to stop this, shut this down. I don't think they have a second one. So this stops them from loaming completely. Right? Yeah. Okay. I'll just regrow another Force of Negation. I'm going to go ahead and waste their Cradle and I'm going to start taking them off mana. Who's the Wastelock deck now? I don't actually have Wastelock. I just have a whole lot of Wastelands. So now if they have another loam, I just force it. There's their Wasteland. I'm going to go ahead and just play this out. That's fine. I will have to pay, but this can draw me cards without having to risk running out of cards, which is what I was risking before. Okay, let's go ahead and go to combat here. I'll just blink one of my Beanstalks. I could just take out this land. It is annoying to pay every turn. I'll just do that. That is part of their combo, as I understand it. We got our card. So we got 31 cards. The main thing I'm worried about is the fact that I have less than 13 minutes. I'm very happy that I regrew my Force Negation. I will regrow it again. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to kill them with Murk here in a turn or two. Actually, I can kill them with Murk pretty soon. What? Oh my goodness. How many Tabernacles are you playing? I guess they're playing at least 3. All right. So I'll just float. I'd like to pay. Now I'll draw. Unfortunately, this comes in play tapped, so I can't do what I want to do here. I'm going to regrow the Wasteland here. Play this out. I hope my opponent's having fun because frankly, I'm not. Like, this is not a fun deck to play against at all. But I respect them for brewing. But like, I can't imagine it's like super fun just like having your... maybe this part of the game isn't fun, but they probably were having fun earlier when they cast their spell. Thus is the nature of Temis. They're 6 minutes ahead on the clock, so they're not that much farther ahead, considering I can win out of nowhere with Murk. I think I have this game won, but who knows what happens with subsequent games. I have no idea how I'm going to sideboard against this deck. Elvish Spirit Guide, sure. Right. I guess I could have plowed that technically. I'll pay. I'm just trying to get this game over with as quickly as possible. Another Beanstalk. I don't really need that. I'm just going to go ahead and Murk. This might draw me some land cards. So actually, I don't have any instants or sorceries. So this is just 3/3. Pretty piddly. But it does speed up the clock a little bit. And it draws me some cards. There's Plow. Oh, nary a land is to be found. So both of our lands are now tapped down. Maybe well, it doesn't matter if I find a land off this. I'm going to discard a lot of cards this turn, that's for sure. I'll just discard a Beanstalk. Don't think that's going to be particularly helpful. Okay, there's a land. And I will discard I don't know, I'll discard another Tamiyo. Discard a Prismatic Ending. I'll discard I'll discard another Brainstorm. I'm going to keep the white spells just in case there's like some weird card in their deck that I haven't anticipated. I can just start removing her from play while I beat him in. Crop Rotation. I have no idea what this is for. I'm going to counter it. Like, I would hate for them to get like Mazevith or something like that. That'd be really annoying. Okay, they have Cradle. Please don't have Loam. I mean, technically they've already made their land drop, so it's not that big of a deal. They don't have good attacks. Right. Draw. I'm just tap like this here. This is one of the most time-intensive cards to play against, period. Like, it just takes up so much of your clock. I'm not going to say anything that will be extremely unpopular. Like, they should just ban it. But that's always how I felt. It's like the card is so freaking expensive and it's so unfun that it just like nobody would ever build this deck in paper. You would have to be extremely rich and extremely bored to build a deck like that. I mean, we could do stuff, but I don't think there's really any merit to it. I'm just going to chill with Brainstorm, shuffle up, think of their guy back. They're dead on board. That's not going to stop them from casting something that just like completely wrecks me. I mean, like, each of these is like $2,000 or $3,000. The print run is legendarily low. Sure. I will float a white and I will go get an island. Okay. I think I could just plow. It doesn't matter. Plowing might give them a way to survive. Okay, and I'm just going to push this out of the way after paying for everything. And this will take another, 30 or 40 seconds off my clock. And there might be something where I can pass priority or like always yield or something like that. But I'm dead afraid that I'm going to lose my creature somehow due to this annoying card. This is uniquely annoying. GG. Okay, good game, I guess. That took like almost all my clock. You're probably going to win just based on clock because you play 4 Tabernacles and you troll people. Okay. So again, I don't mean to be too harsh, but like, please don't build decks like this. Like, you're just going to piss people off. But if that's your goal, by all means. I think Force Negations come in. Plow doesn't seem super strong. I mean, it might actually be better than Prismatic Ending because they may be playing creatures that we just didn't see. This kills that thing that gets 100 counters on it. Their win con. I'm not sure if there's anything else I want to take out. I'm just terrified that I'm going to run out of time. Consign doesn't feel good. Yeah, I think this is probably fine. Let's do it. Again, I hope I don't sound all crotchety and cranky and whiny and stuff playing against Tabernacle. It's fine in lands because it's like tactically there, but to build an entire deck around Tabernacle just feels like a troll move. All right, I'm going to keep... I have Force Negation. I have Force of Will. I have Tamiyo, who was very good there, but what I've learned is when you have already drawn like tons of cards with beans, you do run the risk of running out of cards if you Tamiyo Ultimate. So I find that you generally want a Tamiyo Ultimate or go crazy with beans, not both. Like there was a very close game where I was down to like, I think 4 cards in my deck where I beat a Stifle Knot player. And I was just like, man, I don't want to be doing this a lot. Okay. I'm just going to Tamiyo and pass. And if they Tabernacle, they just tap me down indefinitely. There's nothing I can do to interact with Tabernacle. Okay, they don't have it. Just calm down. Be excellent. Don't be a whiner. Okay, choke. I don't want to deal with this for the rest of the game. I'll just force it. Pitch. Force of Negation? I'm never going to have mana to play with the clues. Sadly, I think this is Force Pitch Force because Force Negation is really useful in stopping their Loam. All right. And we drew another Force Negation. I'll play this out. I shouldn't have played that out. I should have seen what I draw off Brainstorm. I am going to Brainstorm and immediately get to work on Tamiyo because that's my win con. And once she's not a creature anymore, we don't have to pay the tax for her anymore. All right, you've been promoted to head librarian, Tamiyo. Yeah, and of course I drew the freaking lands that when I could have shuffled away. This Wasteland might be useful though. So I'll most likely shuffle those lands away, but I do have Force Negation up, which will probably stop the one spell they're able to cast this turn. I think I'm going to waste here. Just deny them the mana in case they have another choke. Yeah. They have Loam? They do. Bye, Loam. I don't like you. No offense, but it's just, that's the engine of your deck. So I could take a turn to regrow something like a blue card because I'm not going to have a blue card here. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and fetch first. I'm going to get a Trop here. And I'm going to crack my clue to see what I draw. If I draw a blue card, then I'm fine. But otherwise, I think it's best to just take my medicine and regrow a Force of Will. That way I have both creature and non-creature covered. Another one. We could lose to these. It's possible. Okay. And that is... I'll just force this. Yeah, and Tamiyo is going to do her best to try to stop all the many constructs that are going to be coming our way. I'll play this out. Next turn, I can put Force Negation on top of my deck. But if they have just like another hammer, we're screwed. Like, I don't think we can beat Choke over a longer game. I'll just concede for time. That's fine. Very honest of them to make it now. I am going to plow it now. I don't think this gets better. They could absolutely get like a Pithing Needle off this. I think I'm going to go ahead and play this out. Get Force Negation on top of my deck. Then I'm going to ponder to get it and see what else is on there. Beanstalk is great, but I don't have Force Negation. I think it is worth going for the Beanstalk here because it advances my game. Then I have Prismatic Ending on top for the subsequent turn. And if they have choke number 4 or 3, I'll just lose. I have Prismatic Ending, which also will end a... because this is going to be pretty tiny. Okay, they're probably going to go get Pithing Needle, but I'll just end the needle, and then they'll have a 1/1 creature. And hopefully they don't have a third Urza Saga here. 3 and Dynamo. Okay, interesting. All right, well, this is the third Urza Saga that I was worried about. So, and another 3 and Dynamo. Okay, interesting. Interesting deck. They don't have good attacks here. Let's see what we draw. We knew what we were going to draw. I think this is just end this and keep going up. They won't be able to attack in time. And I'm going to try to ultimate. And I was just saying how I don't like to ultimate in the same turn, but we're going to need to if we're going to beat like all these things they're going to be throwing at us. Luckily, they get this at the upkeep, so they don't get to immediately use it. Please don't make me concede this game. I feel like this game is like totally locked down if we get to do our ultimate thing. I'm just worried that they're going to cast some very scary thing. Okay, that doesn't matter. Forest. Okay, I think we're going to win. It's going to be a long game, but I'm going to try to win in the 6 minutes that I have. Let's go ahead and minus. Draw our deck. And something tells me my opponent's not going to concede because they're all about maximizing the amount of time they play, which is their right. But like, there's no way I'm losing from here. Let's go ahead and play this out. Get this land so they don't get another dude. I could just end this guy, but then I'm like kind of running low on cards. What do I want to play? Did I draw a Murk? Murk would end the game quickly. I did not find a Murk. I might find a Murk if... so I've got 21 cards left in my deck. So let's go ahead and... I've already played my land for turn. The Lounge is in hand. I can do stuff next turn. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kill this for 1. I don't care about the Thran Dynamo. I have... How many forces? I drew 1, 2 forces. I could Riddler. It doesn't really help. I don't actually want to draw too many cards here. I think we just pass with Hardcast Force Negation up. And then next turn, I can do stuff. I don't want to play the Beans. Yeah. So it's just find Murk, win with Murk, or win with Riddler, which I can do next turn. They don't have any wastable lands now. They've got 1 card in hand. Life from Loam. Let's just say no to that. And again, my opponent is welcome to keep playing the game, but I've completely locked this down. There is a 0% chance, or as near 0 as you can get in Magic the Gathering, that they will win. I'll play this. I could play the Riddler if I play a land out. Yeah, I think that's better. And then I have a win con. And hopefully this finds yet another force, but I can't imagine, like, they'd have to find some crazy land because I can force anything they put out. And then from here on out, it's pretty trivial for me to just win. Okay, I drew another force and a Murktide for next turn. Again, props to my opponent for brewing. I don't want to discourage brewing, but this is Legacy, and this is like not even remotely Legacy power level, what they're doing. I think I just mark here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'll draw again. I've got still plenty of cards in the deck. I will come in for 4. I have plenty of forces. There's no reason to spend any extra time doing anything, although I can play this out, I guess. So I have cheaper bindings. Okay, Tabernacle is irritating for sure because it takes tons of time to deal with. I'll just waste it next turn, so I don't have to deal with it. But this turn, I do have to pay for it. Okay. Now let's go to combat. Is there a way I can win? I have a second Merc. There might be a way I can just win. I have 8. No, I don't think I can win. I'm just going to waste the Tabernacle. So I don't have to deal with it next turn. Again, it's one of my least favorite cards ever printed. I do have a league where I play with like 3 of them. My Poxlum. So you could call me a hypocrite for saying all these things, but yeah. All right, GG's. Okay, so that was another 4-1 for the bank, losing only to bigger Yorion Control, which frankly I've dabbled in, and it takes even more clock. And I'm just personally as a player, I like having lots of clock. Like most people wouldn't even, like, I don't even know if in other formats clock is an issue. Like in Vintage, I don't know if a game has ever gone to time ever on MTGO, but it does come up a lot in Legacy when you have to make tons of tiny decisions, especially when you're up against like an unknown deck. Playing in paper is way faster than playing on MTGO because generally you don't have to navigate all the clicks like Tabernacle. Okay, I'm just going to leave these 2 lands tapped. I'll just set them right here next to the Tabernacle. And now, but in MTGO, every Tabernacle trigger is like 3 or 4 clicks per creature you have on the table. And every time there's like a little latency. Every time you click anything, there's going to be like a second or 2 that you lose no matter how fast you click it due to the server. Clock is a huge issue for me. So a lot of my anxiety in that final round was just driven by the fact that like I cannot stand losing the time. It's like, so it feels so humiliating when you are way ahead of your opponent, but you just don't have the time, or you start punting because of time pressure. It's part of the game. You have to get better. And I'm working on it. I've been working on it for years now, 2 years, I think, that I've been on MTGO, but it's still anxiety inducing. So what observations do we have about the list? The list felt incredible. This is the best list I think I played. I don't miss the Solitudes that much. I don't think they came up. Like, we actually didn't play against Tempo at all, did we? So, yeah, that's one thing about it. The final round was kind of a buy in the sense that, like, once we figured out how our opponent's deck worked and what axis they were attacking on, we could have easily lost. And I think a lot of fair decks would lose to that deck. But not ours because we just had the tools. We had the Wastelands. Like, imagine you're like a Jeskai Control and you don't have Wasteland in your deck. Like, that's going to be a pretty tough matchup to beat, right? Other thing to note, Riddler continues to be an all-star. Definitely one of the most fire design cards ever printed, in my humble opinion. Like, not obviously bannable, but still extremely strong. I think the number of cards that trigger Beanstalk in our deck is just right. There were a couple times where we just completely ran out of things to do. We were just sitting there drawing lands and stuff. That was mainly against the Yorion deck. And the reason you play Yorion is to curve against those types of situations. But we did actually manage to get our opponent like basically hellbent a couple times in that matchup. Yeah, that one got away. But like I think with some practice and with some luck, we may be able to beat those decks. A lot of it was unfamiliarity with what their deck was capable of because Yorion decks are underrepresented and there is no fixed Yorion list, whereas it's much more easy to optimize like a 60 card deck like this. I wouldn't be surprised if something like this became a tier deck in Legacy. That is my 4th 4-1. And I also have a trophy with this list. So my win rate is extremely high. There was one league where I like 0-2 dropped, which is something I can do because I get a couple credits each month from DB Games. So if I'm like having a bad time and I need to go retune my list, I will sometimes just drop if I go 0-2. But I wouldn't do that on my personal account. I play all 5 games just to maximize play points that I can recover. But I do want to highlight that when I say, like, I don't want you to think like, oh, he's only lost 4 games across 25 games. Actually, I've lost 6 games because of that 0-2 drop. But on a whole, I love this list. Phelia, I think, is totally justified as a one-of. She came out, she did things. She helped to end games faster. You don't have to worry about drawing multiple Phelias. I think 1 is the correct number. I think 0 is incorrect. I don't think Karakas is necessary. It's not as good of a card. It seems like a great card in the moment, but then you also draw it and it doesn't help contribute to your domain, or it doesn't tap for blue. And as you can see, one of my big kind of sticking points, one of the things that makes Be Excellent different from other Legacy players is I am obsessed with high blue count and obsessed with opening blue mana count. I just want to absolutely have every single land, if possible, tap for blue. But Wasteland is so useful right now that I think control decks need this. There will be some decks like James Casale's Grixis Control that succeed without Wasteland, but I don't know how he does it, frankly. Like, I've watched a lot of his videos, and I just don't understand how he's reliably winning when there are, so many terrifying lands in the meta, like Urza Saga and stuff like that. And I feel like Wasteland is great when you just have tons of colorless pips. Anything else I could say? We did get the Lórien Revealed. I mean, we did get to Mystic Sanctuary quite a bit. We did get it in our opener, but it wasn't that bad. I mean, it's just like a janky ETB tapped land. It does tap for blue. So yeah, I feel like this mana base is solid. You could cut the Surveil land because there is a lot of like effectively ETB tapped lands. Like if you include these as ETB tap lands, there are 5 out of the 22, but I don't really count these as lands. There were lots of situations where we were able to pitch this to force, and then the other utility is you do cycle it, but then you exile it to Murk and make your Murk bigger. And that came up, I believe, in the Sneaky Show matchup. So overall, great games. I am very proud of this particular build. I think it's one of the best decks I've ever built, and I'm excited to continue jamming it as long as Tamiyo is legal. And I think it's so strong that even with Tamiyo being gone from the format, you could potentially put Solitude back in the list or do other things and still have it be really good. And in fact, I think most likely when Tamiyo's banned, Solitude will replace it and we'll still have the blue count. Let's take a look at the blue count real quick. So you can see currently we have 25, which is a healthy blue count. I never like to go below like 21, 22. But when we take out the Tamiyos and we replace those with Solitudes, that would work. I don't want to get too ahead of myself. There's a possibility they don't ban Tamiyo, even though I think pretty much every experienced Legacy player would agree Tamiyo is too strong and it is very annoying to play against. So we'll see whether that happens. But on a whole, this is a strong recommend for me. If you have access to these dual lands and you want to play like the best Beanstalk build, I think this is way better than Bug Beans. And I say that as somebody who really likes Bug Beans. I don't think Days is where you want to be right now. I love the fact that we have Wasteland to manage our opponent when we need to, but we're not buying too deep into Days. Days is really best in a shell where you're dropping menacing 1-drops like Nethergoyf and Dragon Rage Channeler and Delver, right? And Tamiyo, of course. It is really not well designed for a deck where you want the game to go long. The longer the game goes, the better it is for us generally. Like the more likely we are to win. So I hope you really enjoy exploring this. Terminus, again, we didn't get to bring it in. I think we might have brought it in like one of the matchups, but I do believe it'll be worth the slot. What could you play in this place? I'm actually not sure. Like, I think you could play Wrath of the Skies, but it is harder to get double white, and that does kill your clues. Dress Down is another option. If you like, Constructs did come up a couple of the matches in here. This could be a Dress Down, which is more reliable, even though it's less powerful. It doesn't trigger the beans. There's no downside really to playing Dress Down. Quantum Riddler, like it does shut off the extra draw you get if it's the only card in your hand, but I think it's fine. I could talk all day about this deck and like all the different little design decisions and all the interactions I've observed over the past, 27, I think, matches I played with it. But I'm going to just keep jamming it. And I hope that if you watched it this far, you like Beanstalk, because I've got a lot of Beanstalk videos coming. If you haven't, consider becoming a channel member, one of my most excellent friends. That is a Bill and Ted reference. And then you'll be able to watch all my videos as I upload them instead of having to wait for them to come out. If you have questions, I don't do tutoring or anything like that. I'm a busy software engineer. I just want to spend all my time playing leagues. And that's one of the reasons I do leagues instead of challenges, because like challenges take tons of time that I could go spend with my kids. But leagues, you just get in and out, and I love it. I love just jamming a whole lot of Magic. But if you have questions about this, just reach out to me. I'll put together a sideboard guide. That'll be in the description. And until next time, be excellent to each other and party on.